What up, people? What's good? Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. It's super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comics. Yeah, because comic books are the sixth element of hip hop. What's good, everybody? This is the sixth element of hip hop. I'm your host, Reno Noir. This is our co-host, Stu Dog, the guy over here. Oh, wait, no, you over here.
Over here.
Stu,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
up, man?
What's up?
Yeah. We in here somewhere. We in here. This is welcome everybody. So if you just came to the if Diamond Onyx, if you in here, say something. See, she came in, bro. She came in, she tapped in like 6 o'clock. And she was like, "What up?"
Oh, she did?
And I was like, "Yo, we were just talking about you last night. Where you been?"
Yeah, where you been at? Have you been on an adventure? And if you've been on an adventure, let us know.
That's right.
Talk
I don't
to
know.
us.
Sada, what up? Our female perspective, our
If
female
it
co-host,
isn't-
Sada.
Yes. As Slade always says, the beautiful Sada.
The beautiful
As Slade
Sada.
always says. Yes. How does Slade? I can't do it the way he do.
I don't know.
I don't know.
He does a new way.
Yo, all three of us was like, I don't know.
It's
I
the
can't
new
do
way
it the way
every
Slade
time.
do it.
It's very
Yeah, Slade gives you a very intricate introduction
every time.
every single time.
Yeah, every time. That's the homie. So Slade, you're talking about, speaking of Slade, and Diamond Onyx and Corey Adger and Norin Rad. Hopefully they'll be here in a moment because we want to introduce the sixth elementals.
Oh,
yeah. So the sixth elementals is basically you, me, Stu, anybody that rocks with the sixth element, our mods, you know what I'm saying? Our regulars, our loyal few that really rock with the sixth element. You are a sixth elemental. So
nice.
yeah, we're gonna induct some people today as soon as they chime in. But yeah, once y'all chime in, Corey in the building. So Corey's the first one to say what's up. So
What's up,
Corey, that's what's up. So Corey, how we gonna do this? So Corey, we want to invite you. We want to induct you. We want to make you an official member of the sixth element crew called the sixth elementals. But I want to do something to like signify that by their name or something like that. There's got to be some like profile pic thing. I know my boy Jim Man, he got his little diamond, a little gem that changes colors, like different tiers. I know Rob, he got the Rob Core ring. Full Blast got the Full Blast Tribe. They put FBT after their name. That's real. That's clever. Slade, what up? So Slade would be the second one. And I want to make, mods. So Slade, Corey, where you at? Where we at? Boom. All right. So Corey, you are now a moderator. You got the wrench, homie. That's right. Always showing love and support. So y'all got the wrench. So that's right. So Corey got the wrench. So if you got the wrench, you are sixth elemental. Slade was the first. You know what I'm saying? Death stroking mugs. But all right. So yeah, man. Once Norin pops in, he definitely got to get the wrench too. And yeah, man. So welcome to the crew. Sixth elemental.
Yes.
We got a big show today. We had a big show last night. House of the Dragon. If anybody was watching, god damn it. All right, so we're gonna definitely talk about that. We got to talk about Rings of Power. We got some little Loki 2 news, little Black Panther stuff going on. We got some cool things. House of the Dragon, of course, Rings of Power, She-Hulk. So stay tuned, man. We're going to chop it all up. We're going to get into some hip-hop things and everything. So y'all know how we do. We're going to rock for a couple hours, but a lot of stuff to cover. But I'm doing all the talking. Stu, Sada, what's going on? Y'all got anything to say, talk about, topics, anything before
I don't think so. I wasn't able to be here for the Saturday show, so I don't think I have anything. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, Saturday was Batman Day. And
oh yeah, that's true.
Batman Day. Mm-hmm. So the question really is, what did you do for Batman Day?
Well, for Batman Day, I didn't do really anything that involved him. I went out to a dinner, had some drinks. So I guess I lived like Bruce Wayne for the evening.
Did you save anybody? You save I mean, did you save?
Yeah, I saved myself from falling. So yeah, I saved myself.
Okay.
That's what Bruce has not been able to do. Save himself.
Mm-hmm. So
okay.
You got one up on him.
Just a little bit.
Well, I know some people are excited to hear about House of the Dragon. So we might as well chop it up there and start with House of the Dragon. So HBO, Max, Game of Thrones, crazy spin-off prequel House of the Dragon has been really good. It's been so good that people are questioning if it's as good or even maybe better than Game of Thrones. It could end up being. We don't know because it's that good. It's really fucking good. The big difference that I noticed that maybe a lot of people don't notice, it seems that there's a fog or like a mist. There's a slight fog with the lighting, something like that over House of the Dragon. So like just on every shot, every scene, it seems to be filmed through almost like a very subtle filter. And I guess it's to give it the look of being historic, like because we know this is in the past. So I think that's why they did that. But it wouldn't be totally accurate to say that the action ratcheted up in the last episode of House of the Dragon, but it sure felt like the stakes were raised and done so in a way that seems to hint that the action will indeed ramp up quite a bit as the first season of this show starts on its downhill plunge. Chief among the reasons that the tension did indeed increase by a decent amount is that the House of the Dragon really showed for the first time in a while Daemon might be less someone who is deeply misunderstood and more someone who is actually a bad person. Matt Smith, who plays him, has done a very admirable job of spending most of the season practicing a bit of balancing act in that regard, like playing is he misunderstood, or is he just really an asshole? Every time he's looked like he might actually be evil, he's done something to show that he's really just wrestling with his place in life, right? He just needs guidance, maybe, or that he just feels as if he's earned a bad rap, and so he'll buck. Because of course the last episode of House of the Dragon seemed to show that he started to careen towards a very dark place. With Rhaenyra. This episode made sure to make it clear that he had arrived there. He gave us the vibe last, that he didn't deny having sex with Rhaenyra to the king, even though he didn't. But he didn't deny it because he wanted to sort of rub it in his face. And like, if you think that of me anyway, then I might as well. Sure, I did do that, kind of thing. And then now it's almost like, God, what did he? So I'm trying to see how to explain it, because it's kind of like he wants people to think that he's this bad guy. And doesn't really deny things that he could easily deny. People that, the people assume about him. They assume that he's done wrong. They assume he, did this or that bad. He lets them assume it, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Poorly. But there's one more scene that shows Daemon's descent into darkness is something not, sitting well with the people who know what he's capable of. It's yet another testament to the actors, I think, in this series, that that things are allowed to play out subtly at times. They don't have to be so obvious because they're so good at the subtleties. And when Damon is continuing to be a terrible person, a glance from Viserys is all it takes for the audience to know that he's deeply, deeply concerned about what his brother's doing. And there is, of course, a bit of action that does indeed ratchet things up. And it looks like it's going to have some far-reaching implications for the rest of this season and will likely stretch into the seasons of House of the Dragon coming after it. It's real testament, I think, to the show that when the tension and the action does indeed get a bit of a boost towards the end of the episode, it's not hard to imagine the audience at home is sitting forward watching it a bit closer. And there's some question as to whether or not this might also be the last time that the HBO Max series audience sees some of these characters. And there's some parallels here. This is a big wedding. And what is this franchise, does with weddings is the red wedding of Game of Thrones, like we know, and it certainly seems to hint that things are about to jump forward in the action, because there was certainly more than a few irons thrown in the fire that are going to have a pretty massive impact on just how the rest of the season plays out. And that's another reason why this could have been sort of a turning point episode in the season. And this episode of the House of the Dragon also managed to ratchet things up when it came to a few more of the relationships in the show. And there's also a guarantee that there's going to be some real palace intrigue, which is really what Game of Thrones was loved for. When it comes to the girl who would be queen and her protector. The show also does a very good job of showing that secrets in the world of House of the Dragon don't stay secret. And of course, that of course is well demonstrated in Game of Thrones, but hadn't really been covered all that well yet in House of the Dragon. In fact, in this world, in this show's world, it's been rather insular right up to the 5th episode, and almost all of the action had taken place either at the steps, Dragonstone, or in the capital, or at the tourney, or whatever. And for the most part, when there was anything outside of the castle, it felt quite fleeting. The episode did a good job of making it feel like the world of Westeros was bigger than just a couple places, and the show did a good job of doing that while still really showing fleeting shots of the larger world. I think it was all the different locations all put together that allowed the audience to feel as though House of the Dragon was fleshed out fully, the world. And that doesn't mean that everything was done perfectly. The show clearly has a big CGI budget, right? They and the dragons, I've been saying they look great. And I've been saying how, and I've been saying how, this is the time of the most dragons, like it's a very dragon centric time, but we haven't really seen that yet. But that's coming. He did mention in this episode that he wanted to sort of usher in a second age of dragons, and we'll get to see like the Targaryens aren't the only ones with dragons. The Velaryons are too. The sea snake, the black dude with the white dreads, they have dragons too. So there's a whole and it's about to be a war. It's about to be a war. And this show is about a war. That's what the Fire and Blood chapter that they are basing this on is about. It's about the civil war between the Valerians, Targaryens and Velaryons, and and it also has a very big costume budget. But every now and then there's an indication that there's things are a bit wanting when it comes to spending that budget. One of the issues with having to show that the world of Westeros is bigger than the show has done before is that it's got to do that while most of the series is still being shot on a stage, so they have to sort of make it look real. And there have been issues with the dragons CGI before, but the number of times it was just a bit too obvious that the actors were standing in front of a big green screen during the latest installment was a little too much to ignore. But it's not a massive problem. You're only I don't think casual audiences are picking up on it. It's just like you're really like a critic and really nitpicking. But there were some of those situations in Game of Thrones as well. I mean, I think someone left a Starbucks cup on one of the tables during one of the scenes, and it was actually got made. Yeah, in Game of Thrones. So like they edited it out after, but it did air. So, but yeah, so shit happens, and we know that. And when you're making a big production show like this, where every episode basically has everything that a feature film does. Like every episode is a feature film. Basically, it's just an hour long instead of 2 hours, but everything that goes into a feature film goes into every episode of both of these shows, Game of Thrones and House of Dragon. And while you can ignore the CGI little stuff, for the most part, when it comes to what's going to happen, in the rest of the season, the obvious CGI can become a bit burdensome when, it comes to pulling the audience out of the world. But I think those sort of things can be overlooked because the show also did a very good job of putting people right in the middle of what seems like it's going to be the first big upheaval in Westeros. A good episode in the middle of the season is going to tell a fantastic story while also making people want to come back and see what else is coming. It's got to make you want more, and I think House of the Dragon does that with a couple different cliffhangers that would have been fit for a season finale, but obviously there's plenty of episodes left. One of the things, so I kind of felt like this show was not this show, but this episode was like a filler episode. I'm watching it and it seems like boring almost. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this episode kind of sucks. And I'm like, what? I mean, okay, so the last episode was really epic. Maybe this is just like a chill episode, but this is your first season. You're trying to make your bones here. So I don't think you should be doing filler episodes yet. I was wrong. When it got towards the ending, spoiler alert, everybody, if you haven't seen the show, go watch it. So at the ending, they're at the big wedding. And like I said, there's parallels to the weddings in Game of Thrones. So they're at this big wedding. They're in the throne room. Everybody's chilling, partying, kicking it. And Rhaenyra has to marry the sea snake's son. He's homosexual. She is into Christian Cole. Like she don't want to be with she doesn't want to marry nobody she doesn't like or whatever. So they kind of meet and they have a little agreement, like a little understanding. She's like, look, I know you like who you like and I like who I like. She's like, let's just be married and be the happiest couple ever and just do what we want on the side. We don't, we're not going to do anything with each other. So let's let it be known. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known.
Back then, we know they would have said, let's do what we do in the dark.
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't set the side back then because it wasn't invented yet.
Okay. Well, I stand corrected. I mean,
well, come on, you did the breakdown, the dirty version.
That's right.
That's how I was saying. Well, that's how they were saying.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna still do the dirty version. I might still do a dirty version breakdown for episode 5. That was fun. I'll probably do, but we'll see. But yeah, man. Like I said, episode is pretty much lackluster as far as any big events. Nothing really big's happening. It's great, cool stuff's happening. I mean, it's a good show, but it's kind of boring this episode. Like nothing major, and then boom, the king's looking off, and you just see him look at like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking somebody's coming in. And like to fight, but it's his wife. It's the queen. She's coming in and she's wearing all green, which is the color that their house uses, to signify war. And she comes in the middle of his speech wearing this, big bright green dress. And everybody knows what it means. And she interrupts his speech, walks up and sits down. Now, her father is Otto Hightower. He just got dehanded, right? The king said, no longer are you the hand of the king, took his little pin and you're not hand no more. So he's already, kind of salty from that. But the queen then finds out that not only did they, well, she finds out that they didn't believe that Rhaenyra didn't sleep with the uncle. Like she thought that they believed, they thought they thought she didn't do it, and that's why he kicked the hand off. That's why he kicked her father off from being the hand, because you gave me this false lie. Well, if it was a false lie and you kicked him out for telling it, why did you give her the morning after pill tea that night? And so she found out that they gave her the little plan B potion, and that told her, okay, so that means they did believe. And if they believed it, why'd they fire my father? She's going through all, so she's pissed, and she's like, all right, shit's about to get crazy. And it does, and it is. Yeah, it's about to get nuts.
All over the simple fact that they did the nasty.
Pretty much. So you're thinking like, okay, this is crazy, but then shit gets a little more crazy. You're like, what's going on over there? And it's brilliant because they're not showing you what's going on. They show everybody's like looking around, and then they start showing, the crowd, like people are jostling around, but still they don't show us what it is. And you see people focused on something, but they're not showing you what it is. And it was brilliant how they did it. And they finally let you know what it is. And it's Sir Christian Cole, Mr. Celibacy, Mr. Oath. He's beating the face off of the king to be his boyfriend, right? The gay dude, because earlier the gay dude came up to him and he's like, listen, the king and me, we do our thizzle. You and Rhaenyra, I know y'all doing y'all thizzle. So me and you are kind of like the side pieces for them. So we need to have a little alliance. Like we need to be cool, because we're in the darkness, right?
You mean the nasty? That's what they would have said back then.
That's what they would say.
That's what they said, because because stuff we say it wasn't invented yet. So
I thought it was in the darkness. That's what they said.
No, the darkness is when you decide peace. That's
okay.
That's what we do in the darkness. Like you was like, like we doing our thing and then they doing their thing, but me and you, we kind of like in the darkness.
There you go.
Together.
There you go.
What I'm saying? Which eventually led to the closet, which eventually led to coming out the closet.
Yeah. So, but I guess Sir Christian Cole, being Mr. Celibacy, Mr. Oath, he's very, like, his honor has been besmirched. And so this guy coming up to him, this deviant, right? This who is this gay dude, this deviant coming up to me, telling me and basically airing out my dishonor. Like, I've dishonored myself. I've dishonored my word, my oath. And you're talking about it like it's nothing, like it's all good. And that shit just got to him. I guess he snapped in the middle of everything. He just starts beating him to death out of nowhere. And it was so like out of nowhere. I just really love how they showed it, how they filmed it, how they brought you to it, because they let us experience it the way we would have experienced it if we were in that room. Because there's a big crowd of people, shit's jostling, people are yelling, but you really don't know why yet from way over here. And the way that they slowly brought it into view was fucking brilliant. Whoever directed that scene, wrote it, storyboarded it, really put that together. I mean, that was brilliant. And when you get to the point, you get to the reason that everybody's bucking, and there he is. He's just on top of the dude, just ground and pound. He's just pummeling his face so badly. He like hamburgered his, like, his face is gone. He looked like he looked like remember Empire
Chunk from the Goonies?
Nah. You remember Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
The gangster, remember he had the mask, he took his mask off, his shit was just missing, like that. Like eye missing, jaw miss, everything's just missing. Because he's wearing gauntlets, right? He's wearing greaves, he's got full armor on. So he's beating this man's face with full armor gauntlets. So yeah, he's just taking his face apart, bones, everything. I mean, the dude is done. And then he takes off, he runs. So Christian Cole, he beats him, and then he takes off. we assume he's running off to escape. I think he's running off to kill himself. He's done. He's gonna go cut his own throat. I knew it. And so we leave that scene, and yes, we find out that he did run off to kill himself, and he's there and he's preparing himself. He's getting ready to plunge the dagger into his self, and someone stops him. I'm not gonna say who in case you didn't see it, but someone stops him. No, I'm gonna tell you who. It's the queen. So she's like, listen, we got a lot of shit that's about to come down like on us, and we gonna need you. We need guys who can fight, like, you know what I'm saying? So they're all preparing because the king drops dead on the spot. We assume. I assume I don't think he's dead. I think he just fell out. This is so if you're watching the show, the king falls out. We know he's dying. He's gonna die. They keep telling us they keep telling us that he's got, maybe months to live, a year or two at most, but he's dying and a lot of stress and everything. So he falls like they quickly bring in just Rhaenyra and Christian Cole, or not Christian Cole, and the prince to do the wedding. We're just gonna do the wedding because that almost fucked everything up. We almost didn't get the wedding done, and so the place is cleared out. It's just like the priest, the bride and the groom, and like the king and the queen, and they're gonna just do this quick little wedding. Herbert, what's good, homie? And original, what's good?
Herbert.
Yeah, so they're gonna do, they're gonna do the wedding anyway, and they just do a quick, do you, yeah, boom, okay, you're married, and the king falls down, like flat on the ground. You assume he fell dead. I don't think he's dead though, because I think in the trailer for the next episode he's there, so I don't think I think we're supposed to know he's not dead. But yeah, so yeah, it was exciting, man. That was a crazy ending. Every bit on the level of Game of Thrones. Like the more, like I'm telling you guys, every episode that goes by makes me and people I've talked to go, is this show like gonna be better than Game of Thrones? Like every episode more and more.
I will hope so.
Wow,
that's a big statement.
Ooh,
that's a big statement.
That's a conversation.
Yeah.
I will hope so. I will hope it would be better than I will hope it would be better than Game of Thrones. Because you got to look at it like this. We got Game of Thrones. It was good for that time that we got it. For the years that we had it, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Now we in a different era, so we need something that's good for this era. So it has to surpass Game of Thrones in that retrospect. Not necessarily be better, but just be the next best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, they've had time to like.
If it's just as good as Game of Thrones.
That's right, Sato.
Right. Exactly. And if it's just as good as Game of Thrones too, I'm like, people are gonna do what they always say. It's all right, but it's kind of too much like Game of Thrones to me.
Yeah.
So you gotta separate it and make it different. That's what happened with Star Trek. That's when people started saying, the original series, they're always beaming down somewhere. Yeah, because they didn't have CGIs. They had sets that, they couldn't just do it on a ship all the time. They had to go down and do. Whereas now they got so much to do cinematography wise. You can make a space station without having to build a set. You can do all green screen. And it's just so much more they can do now. So it set itself apart. But to me, it's setting itself apart. I'm enjoying the ride right now. I can't say that I'm not. And I enjoyed the ride that I got with Game of Thrones. But I'm enjoying this ride. I can honestly say that.
Yeah, man.
It's very inside of, but it's dramatic in a good way. Like it's like that Luke and Laura from General Hospital dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like that dramatic.
Yeah, okay. Luke and Laura. I forgot to mention at the beginning.
General Hospital.
I know, General Hospital. It is though. It's like Dynasty or some shit, right? Some big, soap opera drama, but fantasy, dragons and swords, which isn't too far from some soap operas I've seen. You got the one with the little guy, little midget guy. Sorry, little people, and like the witch. It's like weird, bro. There's some weird soap operas out there. But anyway, yeah. So I forgot to mention though, the last time we saw Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen, he was having his face kicked out of him by the his brother's Kingsguard. But then at the beginning of this last episode, we see him with, this big giant hoodie on, and he's like there to kill his wife and Lady Rhea Royce. And he could have just applied for an annulment or its local equivalent, given that they apparently never consummated their marriage, but perhaps that would have hurt his pride, or it's a land grab for her wealth, because he does get now he's going to inherit everything she would have inherited, and so better to cut straight to the murder. So though his animosity is to Rhea is odd, since actively hostile seems to be his type, but his timing is off. You've got Viserys, the king, has taken ship for Driftmark to arrange the engagement of Rhaenyra and Laenor Velaryon, which is why he's killing his wife, because he wants to marry Rhaenyra, but he's going to marry Laenor Velaryon, son and heir to Lord Corlys, the Sea Snake, right? So Laenor Velaryon is gay, but the dynastic marriages rarely care about such details. They don't. They're rarely like intimate with each other in these things. So, but in any case, the young couple both promised, to look the other way and get on with their lives. So it works for them. But Driftmark makes a pretty cool location. It's a combination of St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall and dimly lit studio sets filled with the riches of the sea, brought back from the sea snake's many voyages. There you've got the king. He keeps talking about like the importance of finally uniting their two houses, the Targaryen and the Velaryon. But his cousin, Rhaenys Targaryen, who is the wife of the sea snake, who was actually in line to be on the Iron Throne, but they let him instead, her younger brother, because he was a man. So she's got beef with that. Really, she's kind of over it now. But the sea snake, he's pissed about it, and he wants her. But so it's a lot of shit, man. And but she's literally the mother of the groom. So, but it must be a deliberate attempt to showcase yet again how thoroughly sidelined she's been, and how unthinkingly patriarchal Viserys is. And yet he's the only one who foresees no problem with his daughter taking the throne. Thinks that's going to be fine. So, so much for his dreams of being a dreamer, able to see the future. But yeah, man, the episode was a talky one. That's what it was, a really talky one, like a kind of a filler. Seemed like it was going to be boring, but was anything but. I think this episode was like a turning point for the series. This is where shit's going to pop off. So after this episode, starting with episode 6, we're going to start to get into wars and battles and fights and all that shit that made Game of Thrones the biggest show on the planet of all time. We're getting there. So I think they've done a great job so far. I can't wait to see where it goes. I think the shadowy sets and general darkness of the show and that sort of mist, but it did cause a few problems, I think, in this episode. And there's one aspect of costuming that should be shocking, but just isn't. Alicent, the queen, finally decides to strike back, infuriated that Rhaenyra lied to her. She didn't exactly, but it's a question of semantics about sleeping with Daemon, and acts out against both of them. And it's worth noting that she's egged on though by Sir Larys Strong. He was the guy with the cane and he's all like twisted up. That guy. he's straight up instigating, and he knew he was like he's an instigator, and he's going to, I think, be a character in the episodes to come, because I think he's going to do more of that, pouring honey in her ear kind of thing. He seems to be a little bit of, like Littlefinger. So if you're a Game of Thrones person, Littlefinger is the equivalent, I think, of who he's going to be. So kind of the the Lord Baelish, the guy, the weasel behind everything, Scream of Worm Tongue equivalent from Lord of the Rings. But I think the intrigue levels are amping up. So, and after that chat with him and the Queen, she comes to the engagement party in all green, and she's supposed to be making like a major statement of independence from the Targaryens. Her green gown should be a major moment, but I think the show has to tell us that instead of showing it, because it hasn't established any of the necessary background. So in the same scene, well, the reason I know this about her wearing green and that being a sign of her house in war and all that is because they literally spell it out. They literally say it. So she comes walking in, and there's a guy in the audience, and he goes, "She's wearing green of her house, and that means that when they go to war." And it's like, okay, thanks for that. Just broke it down for me. And he said something else too that I was like, wow. I don't know. I forget what it was, but basically, this is stuff that I think should have been obvious, or like it should have been told on its own. But sometimes in a show, they don't have any way to tell you something except just to tell you. Otherwise, there'd be like a whole bunch of, a whole other part of the show they'd have to do. So I think it was just their way of breaking it down. Panda Chop, what's good? Panda's in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We kicking it, man. Chilling, talking some House of the Dragon. This show was bananas. Man, I think that this show is definitely, man, on the heels of Game of Thrones. I'm loving it so far. I've not been dissatisfied by a single episode yet. Even this episode that I thought was going to be a filler, boring episode, at the end just totally blew that out. So yeah, nothing but good shit, man. Nothing but good shit. But yeah, in that same scene, for example, Rhaenyra is in white rather than the Targaryen black and red. Anachronism, if we're basing this on medieval times. Brides wearing white only really goes back to when Queen Victoria in the 19th century. That's like really a new thing. So, and we've seen Alicent in blue and bronze just in this episode. If the show had earlier made a point of changing Alicent's look when she married, or consistently putting the female Targaryens in red and black like the men, then this might have been, given the effect that they intended. But as it is, it's just a nice dress. Didn't really, didn't do much.
Didn't do much, huh?
Didn't do much. Didn't do what they intended. But yeah, it was a talky episode up to that point, but it had some good heart-to-hearts between Alicent and her father Otto when he was getting ready to leave, and she, they had a good and then of course between Rhaenyra and Laenor, they had a good little talk. And interestingly, this is the second episode from director Claire Kilner, equaling the 2-episode record of Michelle MacLaren in seasons 3 and 4 of Game of Thrones. Westeros' only previous female director. And encouragingly, however, Kilner has one more episode to come. She's doing the Geeta Vasant Patel. Her and Geeta Vasant Patel are doing later in the season. They've got so baby steps behind the camera, but some sort of effort towards equality, especially in a show focused on gender dynamics. And hopefully later in the series, the women won't just be given the emotionally dramatic episodes like this, and we'll get to sink their teeth into some action bigger than a slap fight. or rather a gauntlet versus face fight. That would be good. But yeah, the week-long festivities planned for the royal wedding are basically derailed when Kristen Cole just beat the dude's face in. So I don't even think they're gonna do the feasts and the tourneys and all that shit now, because they just did the wedding. So, but good, because like all that's boring. Like nobody wants to watch that shit on TV.
No.
Yeah.
The views would go down. They would plummet like.
Oh no.
Yeah, people would be like, "What is this?
Or
sign up for this
festivals and shit. Nah, come on. What are you doing?
You wasting time off my life."
Yeah.
Oh no.
Over the years, like, the world has taught us a lot about wedding superstitions and etiquette, and you don't need to, you don't need something borrowed or blue, and it doesn't matter if you see the bride before the wedding or if it rains or any of that shit. But it's a bad idea to tie the knot while rats nearby feeding on the congealing blood of your husband's recently deceased lover.
Oh God.
I don't know. For some people, that might be the perfect wedding. That might be ideal.
Blood.
I'm just saying. I don't judge. I don't judge.
I'm not judging.
You know what I mean? But
that's your thing.
That's what you do. Do what you do.
It's also not a great sign if your own lover is trying to perform seppuku at the same time either, only to be stopped by your hostile stepmother, who wants to ally with him to fight your dad. Or the Civil War, it's a big. It wouldn't be Game of Thrones if it was just one side against one side. No, there's subtleties and side shit and this and that, and there's always going to be some complications and cool stuff, intrigue. But it's also not super lucky if your dad collapses from his festering wounds while you complete your vows, or your uncle, or for your uncle to smolder at you on the dance floor. Yeah, but maybe it'll work out beautifully. Again, they might be the happiest couple on earth because they don't even find each other attractive, and they have no problem with the other one doing what they want to do. So you never know.
Oh, all right, open marriage.
Hey.
Well, they didn't have open marriage back then. Sorry.
They didn't have open marriage, but what they called it was royal marriage. Like
it was called
kings and queens had their concubines.
It was called soiling the royal oats. That's what it was called. Soiling the royal oats.
No, you mean sowing the royal oats, not soiling them. We don't want to soil our oats.
Yeah. And they also did what they did in the darkness.
In the darkness, they did the nasty.
Yes, and they did the nasty. That's how I went down. Which eventually led to other things in the modern day slang we have today. It evolved. That's all.
Etymology.
Yes, it just evolved. That's all.
It happens. Yeah, man. So where are we going now? Some Kang shit. We got first look at Kang's next Marvel story following Avengers 5 announcement.
Oh jeez. So far.
Kang the Conqueror. It's a name that MCU fans will be getting all too familiar with over the next couple of years. The character is said to be the next Avengers level big bad, following the footsteps of Thanos from the Infinity Saga. Me personally, I think Kang is at best a mini boss to Doom as a big boss, as a big bad.
That's an interesting.
I think they can exist separately. I don't know if one has to lead to the other.
No,
I think Kang's so big. I don't know.
No, you're right. I don't mean in the MCU. I just mean as characters. As characters, Kang is not a Doom. You know what I mean? He's Doom's even toyed with Kang in the comics. But I just because I don't want to see Doom just be the villain of a Fantastic Four movie. He's so much more than that. He's not just Fantastic Four's enemy. You know, he's a villain that covers
he's a universal,
the entire Marvel
universal villain.
Yeah,
he's like he would be the equivalent of in the DC universe of Darkseid.
Yeah,
just everybody, anybody can get it at any given time. From him.
And yeah, so I mean, but Kang has also been described as a multiversal threat. You know, compared to the cosmic threat that Thanos is. But yeah, Kang's gonna show up in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Will be the next time we see him. Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, before getting an Avengers film named after him in the Kang Dynasty. And for those who are looking to read up on Marvel's Conqueror of the Multiverse, you've got plenty of time. Marvel Comics revealed a new one-shot focused on Kang called Timeless. Let me see if I can snip y'all a pic of the cover.
Yes, let us see the cover.
Yes.
Well, I guess I can show you part of it.
Show us.
It's a huge picture. It's a huge picture, and it won't let me copy and paste.
What they would have said back then.
I'm gonna take a screenshot. Show thy cover. Showeth the covereth. All right. This is part of the cover. The top half. Timeless. And there he is, Kang. So, but it's a really cool cover, actually. If you look in the background, there's like a mosaic, little, I don't know, shards of like glass or mirror or whatever, and there's all different characters in there. You can see, Ant-Man, Venom, Falcon, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, Namor, Spider-Gwen,
Blade,
Star-Lord, Captain America, Thanos. Yeah, so everybody's in there.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Top right, top left is Magneto. I think that's
top
Black
left
Tom.
Is Thanos.
There's Black Tom at the top right there, next to
that's
Magneto.
Thanos at the top.
Is that Thanos?
That's Thanos at the top.
That's Thanos at the top, right? That's Thanos.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like Black Tom? Or?
He looks like Magneto because of the because of the helmet. But
yeah, I thought it did look like
that's a dope cover.
Yeah, it's not.
You got Vision down there. You got Daredevil, Spider-Gwen.
And so, well, here, I'll give you the. There, might as well see the bottom half. I can show you the bottom half. Just has to show it separate. Come on, baby. Clickety clackety. There we go. There we go. Here it comes, y'all. All right, so that's the top half. This is the bottom half. Boom, boom.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
You got Lady Thor.
Down here, you got Deadpool down here. The Hulk.
No, it's Moon Knight.
Yep.
Lady Thor. Venom.
Vision at the top. Oh, look, Iron Fist all the way over there next to Venom.
Where?
Top left.
Oh,
that's Iron Fist? Oh,
yep.
Yeah, because that's the one where he has the mask with his hair.
Now, who's the girl? Who's the girl on top of Moon Knight and next to Hulk?
No idea.
Magic, I think. I think that's Magic.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell.
It's hard to be 100%, but I think it's Magic. It's either Magic or the one from Inhumans, but I don't think it's her. She hasn't been in much. It's probably Magic.
I think it's Black Widow's sister.
Well, the reason I'm saying Magic or what's her name is because there seems to be that black stripe on the back of her head, on the back of her hair there. It looks like, I don't know. Can't tell. It's like she's got something there. She's got something on her head there, forehead, and in her back of her head there. Something going on.
Because if you notice, everybody that's in the back of them is everybody that's in the MCU.
Yeah. Well, no. No, because we got Cyclops and Jean Grey ain't in there. Wolverine ain't in there yet.
Yeah,
that's true. But a lot of the people in the center,
what I mean. All the ones that are on there. Let me rephrase it. All the ones that are on there are
or destined for the MCU.
Have a full flick. They have a movie of some sort or been in a major movie. Like they all been in the Marvel.
Yeah.
It's movie universe.
Got something coming.
Yeah, because even Spider-Gwen is in the cartoon. The the Spider-Verse cartoon with Miles.
I don't think that.
But I don't think that's part of the.
I don't think that.
No, it's not. Most of these aren't part of the. None of the mutant stuff is MCU either, but it's all
I think it's all like. See, I think because they got them all on there, Reno, that sooner or later some of that's gonna hit the big screen, man.
Yeah,
they're gonna do something.
Yeah, because
you notice there's
for like years now. So
right. Because you could have put any characters up there you wanted. You could have just put the Fantastic Four.
They're up there.
You could have just put the New Mutants. You could have just put I don't know, a bunch of random heroes. Captain Marvel, right? There's nobody up there that hasn't had a screen presence in that whole picture. There's nobody up there that hasn't had a screen presence at one time or another, or a movie.
No. Well, has Neymar? I don't know if he has yet.
He's about to be in. He's about to be in Wakanda forever.
That's true.
Yeah, he will
hasn't yet. Technically,
he hasn't yet.
Yeah, what I'm just saying, everybody's got a movie, whether it's out or not. Everybody up there has got a movie or a TV show. Think about it. Take a closer look.
That's true. That's true. Because even the ones who haven't yet, like Doom, and the X-Men and all of them, they will. And of course, Apocalypse. I like how they have the real Apocalypse and not that shit they gave us for that movie. But he's there.
Now who's the one? Now
very
who's that?
Top next to Thanos,
right
that's
there behind
Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. At the very top next to Thanos, right above the T and the I. Mr. Fantastic's above the T.
Okay, all right.
She's above the I, and then the thing is down below.
All right, Reno, who is that? Who is that between the M and the E? Right there.
Black Widow.
It could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Black Widow. Like she's got like the red hairs now, like and then
who's that on the S?
You see the scales.
Who's next to Black Panther? Who's that right now?
Yeah, I don't know. The colors look like they're similar to Captain Marvel, but they're not. So I don't.
Captain Marvel, she's over there above Ant-Man. She's right above Ant-Man.
I think the structure of his suit and the colors, they look similar. So I wasn't sure. I got them confused at first, but I don't know who that
looked like Nightwing. I think it was Nightwing.
Oh, please. What a crossover.
All right. Now I'm just trying to see who that is because I mean, if I had to think about everybody that had a movie
about the shape of a
TV show,
looks like Tony Stark right there above right next to Cyclops. I can't tell though. Or actually that could be Kang. Or the what you call it? That one version of Kang. The version of Kang that we saw, I forgot his goddamn name now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
But
it's a cool cover.
It's a cool cover, and
when did that come out?
Well, that's the
or is it out?
Let me see. I think that is coming. Well, because I had that. I had Timeless #1. Timeless #1 came out already earlier this year or last year, I think. Actually, yeah, Timeless it's been out. Timeless was out last year. Because I had it. And Timeless #1 says the special year-ending one-shot that sets the stage for upcoming stories in the Marvel Universe will return for a second year. Last year's installment was a must-have for fans and received much-demanded second printing. This year's Timeless promised to be even more shocking with mysterious teases, exciting first appearances, and at its core, a dramatic high-stakes journey for Kang the Conqueror. But yeah, what I remember about Timeless, the last one, it is that. It's basically showing, it's basically like foreshadowing, what's coming up in the MCU and the comics. But it follows this up a story. This new Timeless that's about to drop follows the story from the last year's Timeless, and will have readers step into the Conqueror's thigh-high boots yet again. This time, the villain is in an unfamiliar position, fleeing. I'm doing this because that I'm reading it. But yeah, so the last battle of Kang the Conqueror, tyrant of the storyline, master of endless legions, warrior and conqueror without compare. Kang is in search of the one thing he cannot have, but he is not the only one after the missing moment. And Kang soon finds himself in a new position, on the run across the events of the Marvel Universe's future. Kang is back on another adventure. But could this be his last one? Once again, we step into the Conqueror's thigh-high boots to go stamping through the future. But this time, Kang is in an unfamiliar position, fleeing. McKay explained. Timeless 2022 is bigger and better than before. More previews of what the Marvel Universe has in store, more action, and a story that sets up the dominoes for a huge story coming in the future that I'm really excited to see play out. What I got, the vibe I got from Timeless last year was, oh, okay, so this is what they want to do this so that when the movies come out, you can't say, oh, that's not from the comics. You follow me? So they're putting it in just so they can say it's from the comics. That's basically what I got from it last year. That's kind of what it seems like.
What a way to be proactive against the critics.
Yeah. Pretty. I mean, that's basically what it. And Marvel is doing that a lot with their comics. Like a lot of the comics that are coming out, the newer versions of stuff. I'm seeing it. They're either using characters or assuming shit from the movies, and it's like they've almost mixed the MCU with the comics. The current comics that are coming out. Obviously the shit in the MCU is based on old comics, but as the new movies come out and new comics come out, they're able to do the movies based on more recent stuff now, because all the original Avengers movies and all that, like all those storylines come from the 1960s comics, like the original, like the first stories of the Avengers and stuff like that is what they adapted for the movies. And I always was like, I want to see shit like from the 80s, like stories I loved from the 80s, like Days of Future Past, like X-Men was starting to do. So, but I guess we're not going to get that. I guess we're going to get these new stories by these new writers, and they're going to, sort of make new stories. And then that's why, I have this much faith in the MCU moving forward, because obviously because of what they've given us this last phase, and the fact that I'm seeing the comics are starting to look just as bad.
Wow.
Yay.
Well, you know what it is, Reno? Each one tries to write the other's template. Like DC, when they come out with their animated movies, they're based on their more recent comics. Most of them have been lately. So I guess Marvel's trying to do the same thing and say, well, look, we got a good cinematic. Let's just try to write some stuff in the comics and bring it to the big screen. Fans will love it. But DC didn't do it like that. They're just writing the way they write.
They're just making the movie, and then they make a movie, or they're just making the comic and then they make a movie. It seems like Marvel's actually writing comics for the MCU. Yeah.
Well, Bruce Timm was like,
I don't know.
Just let me do at least one a year. Yeah, he just wanted to do one movie a year or two a year, based off of their best-selling comic or most popular character, just to keep something out there animated wise. And it's been working. I mean, every year or two we get, or every so often we get, every few months, whatever, we get something good. Green Lantern, the one with John Stewart, that was great.
I just wish that whoever, I really wish that whoever is handles animation over at Marvel would hire Bruce Timm. Honestly, they just did there's a new Marvel animated movie, a Thor one, and I'm like, oh, cool. There's a Thor now. And then I start to play it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is Marvel.
Oh, is that the one on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that one. Oh man.
What did you think?
I didn't like it. Like,
me neither.
So the artwork is it's actually identical to New Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow. I guess the same people did that movie. So it was nice to see that artwork again, but story-wise, I didn't like it. And you know, I'm already on shaky ground because I'm not the biggest fan of Thor. I don't know so much about him. So you really got to get me, and it didn't get me. It just didn't get me.
Wow.
Well, I'm of the same, like, I'm not a big Thor fan or anything like that. I just thought that maybe we'd get some cool Marvel characters, something would be good about it. But like you said, the art style's great, but I don't know, man. It's just something about, I don't know if it's the story or the dialogue or what.
I think it was both for me. I think both, because the story was very paint by numbers. Thor having to like prove himself, he's very wild, and then it backfires on him. Here comes Loki, who's like the sneaky villain, you know, and it's great to see that again because we haven't seen that with Loki in so long. But the way that it came out was just like very generic. So I was like,
generic is a great word.
And that's how the dialogue was like, no.
It's like how I feel about CW shows, like a lot of like DC's live action shit and Marvel's animated stuff. They need to. I'm not saying it's bad or not good. I'm not judging. I'm just saying generic is a word that comes to mind.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Marvel, like they don't have faith in their own source material anymore. Like with the old stories and stuff, because they keep making these ridiculous changes or just writing new stories to fit the films instead of just utilizing what's already there. I don't know. I don't know if they don't have faith anymore, if they feel like the audience isn't going to grasp onto it. I don't know, but
I think that they think that the audience is on some level of where like they have to it's not diverse enough, it's not equality enough, and it's not woke enough.
Boom.
Boom.
That's exactly. Boom. That's it right there. Yep. They trying to.
Stan Lee wasn't worried about all that shit. Lito's way.
Hi, Litos.
But Stan Lee wasn't worried about that kind of shit, and so their stuff isn't. The old comics aren't written that way to a disgusting amount. But I think that Marvel's always been diverse and as a leader kind of in comics. I mean, they're the ones that did the first like Black Panther and stuff. I mean, they obviously it was maybe misguided or whatever at the time, but they were trying and they've always
they did. And you got to take your hat off to them because DC had Gorilla City.
Right.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. That was really
in Africa.
Yes, that was really bad.
An invisible, undetectable, impenetrable dome.
Yeah. That was really, really bad.
A bunch of super smart gorillas that had technology far superior to anything the humans had.
Yeah, that's like
whoa. That was really
that was the best they could do.
That would not fly.
Oh, geez.
Not today.
But Wakanda, perfect. Like, and so like that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Marvel.
It's a straight ripoff. Straight ripoff. Huh?
I said, okay, let's add a tinge of racism. I like that. Perfect. Gorillas, yes.
Yeah.
Throw it out there.
I would have loved to be sitting in on that meeting when they had that meeting.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what are we gonna call it? Gorilla City. Oh Lord. Whoa.
And what is it? Oh, so it's like Black Panther, but we're gorillas. Okay. Actually.
I'm like, don't you guys think that's just sending a little bit of a subliminal message?
Yeah. I agree.
Come on.
Yeah, Lito. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like Disney, because they did the same thing in Star Wars with Lucasfilm. They've done the same thing with Marvel. So what they do, it's like they're, and that's why it's like they don't have faith in their source material, because maybe it aged badly because it doesn't fit the standards of Twitter's current PC model. You know,
but I feel like just improve upon it. Like, why does it have to be so preachy? Just improve upon it. It's not simple, but you can do it. The problem is that it's very preachy, and it's not. You feel like you're in a classroom, and it just feels like these writers are using these characters as sounding boards for whatever, and it doesn't work, and it's not enjoyable to watch. So I really don't understand.
Yeah,
I can tell you why, Sada, because nowadays, this next generations, you have to explain everything. And like we were saying the other day about how they just don't listen. They already have their own set of rules or the way they see the world or the universe. And it's just not real. It's just not realistic. To take these characters and not present them in their rawest form. Like everybody in here right now, even in the chat, I would like I don't know how everybody, but I'll say everybody on the screen right now were not children during the 60s or the 40s or the 50s when they made this lore and they had these characters out, right? Yeah. We were too young. But when they presented it to us, we appreciated it. What I don't get is why do you feel you have to and nobody changed nothing when they gave it to us. So why do you have to change it for this next generation? For them to get why does it have to be so changed for them?
Like if we got it, why can't they get it?
Why can't they get it? Right. Their own audience, their lack of faith in their own audience. That speaks to that. Where you have to literally not necessarily dumb it down, but just breaking it down to its most simplest form so it can be as digestible as possible. And it's like, okay, I guess.
It doesn't make good quality content. It doesn't make good art. It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
And that's bottom line is what you do is art. You know, you guys do art. You don't do politics. So stop with the politics. Get back to the art. Art as in writing, drawing, whatever art. You know, filmmaking, all of that
CGs.
Stuff.
Yeah, great CGs.
Yeah. I don't think that's why they don't understand why No Way Home was really as successful as it was, even with the maybe flimsy story. Like, you just gave us a film where you gave the fans what they wanted. You gave us this epic multiverse shenanigans, just and that's just what it was. Like, that's just what it was. That's it. And people just sat and enjoyed it. It was great. Like,
it's all we need. Yeah, that's it.
For some reason, they can't translate that to the female characters. But if we have a problem with that, now I have an issue with female characters. No, you have an issue with writing them well, and you got to fix that. You have to fix that now because they're going to be prominent going forward. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
Yep. Very well put. Very well put. 7 African coming. Oh, this is cool.
Ooh.
So Marvel, DC, and Dark Horse Comics, just to name a few, are the most mainstream comic book companies out there, obviously. And it's easy to see why, because they've been in the game forever. And, but very few people know that there are comic book companies that aren't based in North America and Asia. For those that love to read manga, there's a wide array of comic book companies spread across Africa. All creating fantastic content that can rival even the biggest, the big two. So 7 of the biggest, I want to show you guys these real quick. So I'm going to share the screen with y'all because there's no audio.
Oh, boo.
Yeah. When there's audio, I've found out that sharing the screen does not work well.
Yeah, I kind of found that out myself.
Yeah, because we did I forget what episode it was, but I was showing a bunch of we were talking about hip hop videos, and I was we were playing videos, but they sounded like when you look.
Yeah, it's like that and a weird echo.
You get feedback. Yeah, it's just feedback.
Yeah. Exactly. This is Malika, Warrior Queen.
Nice.
And beautiful. Here are 7 of the best comic book companies across the African continent that you probably didn't know about. This is from Unique Studios.
Nice.
Warrior Queen. Unique Studios play on the word unique. They are a Nigerian-based comic book company. They were frustrated at the lack of African-inspired content in mainstream nerd culture and entertainment, and decided to do something about it. They created their own universe, the Universe, YOU universe, where their characters can thrive, rich in African history and stories. Their universe contains different stories from different time periods running concurrently. One of the most popular being EXO, The Legend of Wale Williams, which is set in a futuristic Lagos, Nigeria. They create stories that stand the test of time and fully represent the audience they are capturing. Yeah, because I mean, to point out, African American and African are obviously 2 different cultures, and so this is African culture, and that's why they want, you know what I'm saying, like there might be a lot of comics with African American culture, but not actual African culture. So that's what they're actually putting here. And we've got this is from Comic Republic, The Might of Guardian Prime. Looks almost like a Green Lantern type thing,
or a Green Ranger.
Yeah, great art though. Look at that.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah. They pride themselves on being the home of Africa's greatest superheroes, with a creation of their own universe and timeline. Also, Nigerian-based comic book company, vast collection of stories from standalone to timeline stories within their universe, with a wide range of storytelling from Afrofuturism to historical fiction. Man, these are really cool looking. Vortex, 7 years of spirit fiction. Oh, this is cool. So this will be like, fairy tales and stuff. Born out of the love for Afro-Greek culture. Afro-Greek or Afro-Geek? I think they meant Afro-Geek culture. I don't know what Afro-Greek would be. They unless Africans in Greece, but they created this avenue to tell African stories from a multifaceted way. They have a wide array of stories across their universe, all catering to a different demographic. They have excellent graphic novels, Spirit Wars, Moo Juju, and a variety of others, even going so far as to create Afro manga, an entirely new genre of graphic novels. So that's cool.
Afro-Greek. I would think that Afro-Greek would be Africans that migrated to Greece.
That's what I said. Africans and Greece
have ancestors there. Yeah,
yeah.
Because like you got African American, you got African American. You know, we are African by descent, but American by birth. So I guess you have saying that.
Yeah, no, Afro-Greek might, like you said, it might not be a misspelling of Afro-Geek. It might really be Afro-Greek.
No, there is Afro-Greek. Afro-Greek is a real thing. That's a real thing.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what they meant. I guess. Yeah,
there you go, African Greeks.
Yeah. WandaCon. Oh man, we're not getting any more pictures.
Dang.
Oh, this is their Facebook page. Oh, there's like a picture of one of their comics right there. And the creative team, Sanwo Jegbo. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we're not getting Vortex, that was the Afro-Greek. Then Awanda Comics, up and coming African comics industry. Awanda Comics hit the running with their comics Misfits and Adura. And then you got Letty Art taking superhero comics to the next level. Loyiso Mickey's art. This South African artist seeks to share the stories of their community. And Bayou is the last one. Aya is one of the stories created by Bayou writer and creator Marguerite About, one of the most successful and international comic writers today. So yeah, it sucks we're not getting to see any more covers, but yeah, those are cool. I guess we only got to see 2 really, but
nah, it's dope. I would have never listened.
That was dope.
Bruh, look, you learn something new every day.
That's right. Like I was like, whoa, I had no idea. Right? Never knew. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, we don't want to lose that right there. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, we wanted to talk about the rings of power, but before we get into the rings of power, you guys know how like toy companies often leak shit from movies that we that they didn't mean to, like I remember, like for instance, I remember well, this was a comic book doing it, but I remember when everybody was trying to figure out, who the timekeepers were and if Kang was involved or any of that, like no one knew at that point. But I had skipped ahead like 3 months or 4 months to pre-order a comic, and they already had the cover out and it showed Kang in the center of the three timekeepers. So this was like something that had not come out yet. Nobody knew, if Kang was involved, but then there was this comic cover. So shit like that, toys coming out with characters that haven't been revealed yet. And Marvel Studios' Black Panther was set to give their fans a first look at the MCU's take on Neymar the Submariner, who will be played by Tenoch Huerta in the live-action debut. Footage from the teaser trailer for Black Panther 2 showed some intense action between the Wakandans and Namor's home country of Talokan as the underwater nation wages all-out war against their African neighbors. Rumors have pointed to an incident with Dominique Thorne's Ironheart kicking off this fight as the young heroine teams up with Shuri and Wakanda to help protect the nation from danger. Now, a leaked image from an upcoming Lego set has spoiled some of that battle ahead of the Black Panther 2 release, teasing a round of action with their heir to Tony Stark's MCU legacy. And I'm going to show you guys the picture. Here we go. No, I'm not going to share the screen here. I'll just show you the cover of this box. Got to click like 7 things just to add a picture. All right. So yeah, this is like the battle. So there you go. You see Shuri and everybody, and that's, I think you can see Ironheart flying. I think that's Ironheart.
Where the hell are they?
They're on like this barge in the middle of the ocean. Because I guess they can't. Well, I mean, they got to fight. Atlantis. So they gotta, I guess. They can't just be in the water, so they built this big barge. I'm showing you.
Get them around.
Yeah, here goes the back part of it. And you can kind of see better from the back what they're in from behind. There, you see, it's like a ship. But yeah, it's like some barge there in the middle of the ocean. I think they're in the ocean. They don't look like they're flying to me. Makes more sense than being in the ocean. But I guess what this does, the set is titled Black Panther War on the Water, showing a massive ship surrounded by Wakandan ships in the air around it. And M'Baku, Okoye are on the top of the ship while Shuri is jumping towards King Namor, and Ironheart is flying there in the middle or along the side. And so that's Ironheart right there, the red one in the middle, kind of flying along the side of the ship.
Yeah, I think they said she'll get her like advanced suit towards the end of the movie. So that must be what it's going to look like.
Right. And then you see Shuri jumping off the boat and Namor popping up out of the water there. So yeah, that whole scene, I guess, is
that must be a big action scene since they made the thing from it.
Right. It's got to be a big part of the movie. Yes. Yeah, it's got to be something very memorable to make a Lego set out of it. But this this set looks like a like a location that's going to hold probably the final battle of the movie, or at the very least one of the bigger fight scenes toward the end of the film, or the second act. But considering it features Ironheart's Mark II armor, it's more likely that this fight takes place once her character is set more firmly into the story and after her introduction. And also of note in this image is that there's no sign of an unmasked Shuri, further leading fans to believe that she's going to be taking the role of the Black Panther following T'Challa's death. And this is something that Marvel has tried its best to keep secret.
I don't know why.
I don't either. I really don't know why.
Just admit it. It's okay.
You haven't cast anyone to play Black Panther. We know that. Like, we would have known by now. So clearly, since we know who's in the movie, like, you haven't like, come on, dude. Like, what?
She's the only one with like a non-costume. She's got like a purple tracksuit. Like, come on.
It's so obvious.
They're really trying to fool us. Like, it's okay.
I know. Exactly. It's like, you didn't give us what we wanted, so just shut up.
Yeah, that set is remember in the trailer they showed that big boat thing. They showed those in the trailer.
Yeah. It's definitely a major part of the movie. But yeah, it kind of, I guess, it tells us the big secret that Shuri is Black Panther. And we get to see, the Mark II of the Ironheart suit, sort of. So, but definitely, this is stuff, stuff like this, that with toys and merchandise has happened before, that comes out before the movie, and sort of leaks or spoils stuff from the movie. I don't know why they haven't figured out how to, stop that. Like, it's happened so often. It's happened so many times. You'd think they'd be like, okay, guys, we need
every time, actually.
Pretty much, yeah, every time. Like, you think they'd figure out by now, maybe we should, not put the merch out until the movie comes out or something. I don't know. I never understood that anyway. I never understood why they put the merch out before the movie anyway, because little kids aren't going to be like, oh, I want that, because they don't know what it is. You got to let them see the movie first, then put the merch out. Then put the toys out, but who knows? But while this Lego set
is purposeful, it's for that audience. No, for the older audience.
Yeah,
yeah. We've been doing it for years. Remember, we got Star Wars toys before the movie came out. We got what was it? Jabba the Hutt. I mean, Jabba the Hutt had his whole set. We had the Millennium Falcon. Well, Star Wars, the toys came out afterwards. But Empire and Return, they put out toys before the movies came out.
But at least with that, you knew these characters were and stuff, because you had seen the first movie, and maybe so. But this Lego set, it does tease some action, and it's difficult to tell how it fits in the movie itself, even after fans potentially saw this massive barge for a split second in the first Black Panther 2 trailer. What is confirmed, definitely, however, is that Namor and the Wakandans are going to have this big, brutal battle against each other. And Shuri is Black Panther, and Ironheart, is rocking the big suit, the full suit. So this is going to be a totally like feminine-centric movie. It's all about, female Ironheart and female Black Panther, female Iron Man. So that's what Reno, they got to keep it a secret or no one want to see it.
That's kind of true. I mean, they just outright said.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they've already killed off the character of T'Challa. Yeah, they killed off the character of T'Challa, and then your response is, okay, we're gonna have Shuri come in now. Yeah, not a lot of people are probably gonna want to see that. So
yeah, and I think that's exactly. That's why they're hiding it. That's why I said before, you didn't give us what we wanted, so just shut the fuck up. You didn't recast like everybody said, even Black Panther's family, even Chadwick Boseman. Even Chadwick Boseman will want you to recast. So you know everybody but you wanted to recast. So you didn't give us what we wanted. So instead of hiding the fact that you didn't give us what we wanted, just pissing us off when we see the movie, you might as well give us time to accept it before the movie. That's my thinking.
Exactly. Hook us up.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Don't want to do it.
But
I mean, look, they recasted Blade. Everybody wanted Wesley Snipes, but they recasted him.
Yeah, and he wasn't even dead.
No.
They recast the Joker, and Heath is gone now. So, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with recasting. Especially
I don't think they're gonna recast what's his name either, Red Hulk. So
yeah. Oh. Yeah, give us Thunderbolts without the Red Hulk. See how that rolls over Marvel. Come on, dude. They're just fucking up left and right, dude. I'm so over it.
Like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, like who's in charge over there? What's going on? Feige, you lost your fucking mind? Like this isn't phase 1. Like you've done this before. Like why I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to try and wrap your head around how they come up with some of this shit and how they decide on some of these decisions. It's like did someone decide on these decisions or what? They throw a dart at a board and just like whatever it lands on.
A little bit of both.
I believe it's a bunch of guys, young hip guys, sitting in a room,
mostly girls.
Saying this will be cool.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Feige's in there and they convince him. And he says, okay, whatever.
Right. And since nobody young today can disagree with anybody and say, you know what?
Yeah.
It's all right, but I don't think it's that cool.
No, you can't do that.
One person says it's cool and they all think it's cool, and that's what we get.
Because you can't tell anyone, oh, that's not a good idea. Like they come up with a script idea or something. You can't say that idea sucks because then you're shaming them. You're stifling their creativity.
No, they'll get fired if they say that because they keep hiring these writers that don't care. They keep hiring these writers that don't do the bare minimum. They'll just do whatever it is that the higher ups want. So they won't say anything if they want to keep their job. So I don't,
that too. But like I'm talking about more of like on the creative side. Like I heard this quote, something about you can't say something bad to the creatives or some shit like that. Like something along the line of you can't
serious?
Stifle their creativity. Yeah. So like in a writer's room, you're supposed to come up with ideas. And if they suck, the other writers are supposed to say, hey, that sucks, or that's not a good idea. Let's try this, something like that. But nobody will tell each other their ideas suck because that, it's not PC. It's not up with the current, whatever the fuck is going on.
That kind of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it?
It does, man. It takes all the fun out of it. But Sada, what you said is exactly right too. It's all of that. It's combinations of all that. Loki 2.
Oh yeah, season 2.
When?
Yeah, Loki 2. Even though season 2 of Loki it's a ways off. But the God of Mischief did not come to D23 Expo empty-handed. In addition to Loki himself, Tom Hiddleston making a great appearance, he was joined by Owen Wilson, and that made me happy because I was upset when they killed Owen, man. I was upset when Mobius died. So he'll be back. When audiences, last saw Loki, Sylvie had just killed He Who Remains. That's what I was trying to think. He Who Remains was who was in that picture. Freeing the timeline and paving the way for Kang. Meanwhile, Loki found himself an alternate version of the TVA where no one, including Mobius, knows who he is. And despite being in the midst of filming, Marvel Studios released an actual trailer for season 2 exclusively for the D23 Expo attendees. So we don't get it, but confirming just 2 will be, joining Loki for his second second shot out. In the trailer, he's trying to warn others about, Kang is coming, while navigating a new TVA, his own woes and certain, points in time. In addition to Tom Hiddleston's own Loki variant, there's 6 characters confirmed for the show based on the leaked footage. Obviously Mobius, right? Owen Wilson, he's back, his partner in time, back for season 2. However, he may not be the same Mobius, that Loki remembers or that we remember. He doesn't remember Loki, so we don't know how, his personality or whatever is going to end up being. And the trailers.
Remember at the end, Reno, he told him, if you kill me, I already know what's going to happen, but I'm going to change it. But every time I change it to make it better.
Yeah.
So things are going to be different, but they're not going to be the same, but they're going to be better for me, beneficially.
Right.
I'm going to make, and when he went back, everything was different.
Yeah.
We don't even know the role the TVA plays now.
Yeah, I mean, they're still functioning, but now Kang has statues in the TVA, so it's different. Because you saw that statue of Kang was there, right? There was no Kang statues. They didn't. So, but
there's no Kang, right?
Even so, well, the trailer suggested that just like in season 1 finale teased, this Mobius has no memory. With of his adventure with Loki, and maybe yet another variant. So he may be but even so, he's still there. He's still along for the ride, joining Loki and the TVA for more lunchtime talks and old school red carpet premiere. But while Loki season 1 ended with Sophia Di Martino's Sylvie at the Citadel at the end of time, the D23 footage confirms she won't be there for long. While her appearance in the trailer is very brief, audiences get the impression from her weary appearance that killing He Who Remains wasn't the end of her problems, but perhaps the beginning. And then you've got Ravonna Renslayer. Remember her? Another character who made a brief appearance in the trailer, but should have plenty of stories to tell, is Ravonna Renslayer. Let me get her picture so you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, nope. There we go. So she's back. Mobius is back. Loki's back. Sylviana's back. That's who I'm talking about. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
And she season 1, we left her left to find the only person who gets free will. That's what she did. And since He Who Remains is no more, and Kang, the Kangs are basically on the rise, it will be interesting to see where her quest and his new set of circumstances lead her. Because remember, when they took out He Who Remains, he told him, if you kill me, like the Lokis or the Kangs are gonna be running wild. Like I keep the shit in order. And so now obviously the multiverse is just gonna be bananas and Kangs are gonna be running wild. Another person that's coming back is Hunter B-15. That was that's the one. Hunter B-15 is, she's one of the hunters that goes out and hunts the variants. You had Ravonna was her boss, and then that's her right there. It took like 7 years to download. I don't know why it took so long. But there it is. Yeah, that's her. So she was an enemy at first, turned ally in season 1. But again, just like Mobius, this is not going to be the same Hunter B-15 because it doesn't seem to know who Loki is, or the same variant that he knew from the first season. And then we've got Ke Kwan's mystery character. Now this is very fucking cool. My homeboy OG Lee. Shout out to OG Lee in the building. I thought he should be in the building. I told him to come on here because he's like a big fan of Data from the Goonies. You remember Data?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and also he was Short Round in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he took a break from acting for forever.
He did,
right?
Yeah, he's been doing.
Isn't he supposed to be in
he's supposed
to be in a new Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah, he's gonna be in a new Indiana Jones movie, and he's gonna be in Loki too.
Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, that's him. Today. So yeah, he's in addition to the trailer, the announcement of the Goonies and the Indiana Jones actor was the biggest surprise of the Loki portion of D23. Yeah, man. Even though Marvel has yet to reveal just who he's going to be playing or what he's going to be doing, his mystery character was featured in the footage as a TVA archivist with his own distinct and specialized office space. So he'll have a cool role. And then there's Casey, TVA clerk that from the first season, played by Eugene Cordo, is also returning. He was briefly shown in the trailer as well, but this time not only does he know what a fish is, he seems clueless about the show's previous events, just like Mobius and Hunter B15. He doesn't know what a fish is for some reason. We always found that really weird. Like, you speak English, like, how do you not know what a fish is? I get you're not from Earth, but like a fish, like, I don't know. You talk to people all the time from Earth, whatever, dude. But and then of course Kang the Conqueror. Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror, is confirmed obviously to appear in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Loki's new trailer didn't really show his villain in the flesh, but he was shown in a different form. In what appeared to be an attempt to convince Mobius and Hunter B15 about Kang, Loki is seen smashing through a mosaic depicting the Timekeepers, revealing a carved relief of Kang the Conqueror, basically trying to show them like these Timekeepers, they don't exist. They're not real. It's Kang, and it's possible that the statue won't be the last of what audiences see of Kang. But whether Majors appears as an actual time traveling tyrant, if he's going to be in it or not, we don't know. If he's going to actually appear physically, because he's doing the movies. But I think it'll be a big missed opportunity if Kang is not in Loki season 2. That would suck. Other familiar faces to join Loki for season 2. So not only is Loki the only MCU Disney Plus series to date to have received a second season, but it may be the most pivotal project that Marvel Studios has released in Phase 4.
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, after all, Loki introduced audiences to the multiverse, Kang the Conqueror, variants, and stuff like that. And so the show really kicked off what this next phase is all going to be all about, and started it. So, and coined the multiverse saga. So given its importance, it's possible that other Marvel characters could appear or their variants could appear. Because now that the multiverse has been freed, and audiences don't know when or where Loki's new TVA is located, they can do whatever they want. The possibilities are literally endless. And as the MCU sort of dives deeper into its multiverse saga, I think Loki 2 is definitely the project to watch as the studio, sets the stage ahead for the Kang dynasty and Secret Wars. So yeah, but we got to wait till next summer, y'all, for Loki season 2.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a ways away. Which makes me, are we going to get any stuff this winter? It's seems like everything is
outside of
2023.
Wakanda Forever? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing.
That's the only one. I think you're right.
Yeah, Batch got pushed back to January.
Oh well, now Star Wars stuff. We got Andor. That's coming. Now,
Andor is Andor's when? Tomorrow, right? At midnight.
Is it? Well, oh, midnight, yeah. Or 3 a.m. probably, because midnight in Cali.
Yeah, tomorrow's the 20th. Yes, sir. It comes out the 21st.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. Andor is about to, like, I think it's gonna be it's sort of bringing like a more grittier, more grounded Star Wars era. I think it has the potential to be the most mature Star Wars we've ever seen on screen, you know, not including some of the books, but, you know, rekindling a 45-year debate about the franchise's target audience. Maybe at one time it was for kids, but let's be honest, we grew up. We're still fans. Hello. Like, when you know, when a franchise grows up with its audience, you're supposed to evolve. I mean, look at Dragon Ball Z, right? It started out, Goku was a little toddler,
little kid. He's a little kid, yeah.
And he grew up. Then he had kids. Then his kids grew up. Then they had kids.
They got kids.
That shit evolved. So yeah, man.
The characters evolved. Everything.
That's right. The show evolved with the audience, and I mean, that's one thing comic books clearly do not do. Obviously, you know, superheroes stay teenagers for decades, but Star Wars, definitely something that, I mean, kids don't care about Star Wars, dude. Not these days. Like, my kids don't care. It's like not like it was. And so really it's for us, man. And I think Andor is gonna be, you know, our show. I hope. That's what I'm hoping. And you've got Cassian Andor. He's a good guy, but he's not a good guy. He's like a little bit of an anti-hero. He's a spy. He's like, you know what I mean? And shortly after we meet him in Rogue One, he not only kills a couple of stormtroopers, but he blasts the informant who told him about the Death Star in the back, like shot him in the back to safeguard the knowledge that the Rebel Alliance had learned of the super weapons existence. But that was some new shit for Star Wars. Like, shooting a man that's not a stormtrooper, or not shooting at you, like literally, that was big. Like, I was like, oh, like, so that was big. Like, he shot a dude in the back, like an informant that was kind of like on their side. I'm like, whoa, is this guy? Did they see that? Did they know that just happened? You know, and later he shoots one of Saw Gerrera's insurgents and seals the fate of a few more. But to protect Jyn Erso, you know, who must survive for the mission to succeed. So he does what he has to do. And that's what I'm talking about. That's a character I fuck with. Like, you don't have to be a Boy Scout to be a fucking superhero. You just have to do what it takes, do what needs to be done. And, you know, these victims they're not his enemies. They just have to die for the mission to succeed. This is very mature. It's a very mature way for Star Wars. You know, it's not how they usually roll. So they're more or less, you know.
I read some articles, Reno, where they said that I read quite a few of them, and they all said they said the same thing, but in different ways. But basically, they're saying that Andor is not your. It's just like Rogue One. It's not your typical Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's more like a spy drama, wrapped in Star Wars. But they loved it. It was like, like they loved it. Like, all the critics loved it.
Yeah.
And they said that they think that it's going to be a hit because of the way it's presented.
I think so.
I thought Rogue One was great, but you know, if Andor is anything like Rogue One, and this is what the critics are saying, they're saying it's just like Rogue One. It's a spy thriller wrapped inside of a Star Wars setting. Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, and yeah, and Rogue One is one of my top 3 Star Wars movies. So if it's anything like Rogue One, I'm gonna like it. And I already know I'm gonna dig it. Because of the fact, just them saying that it's a more mature, like it's a more, I don't think we're gonna get shit like little Princess
How many
Leia.
episodes are we supposed?
The little Princess Leia. A lot of
critics
Leia
said they
shit,
watched 3 episodes.
not doing that. But I think it's like 13 episodes or some shit. Oh no, what was it? Some was 13 episodes. No, I think this is like 7 probably.
I know the critics.
The
reviews I read, the critics said they saw 3 episodes, and they said all 3 episodes was like the hype. Like they loved it. They were like,
the critics are digging the fuck out of it. The test viewings have been very successful.
They love it.
Yeah. So there's as Jyn Erso's father, Galen Erso, was Cassian. Cassian was spending a lot of the movie plotting to kill him. He has the face of a friend, Baze Malbus says of Andor, the spy, saboteur, assassin. But as Andor admits, he's done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion. And most of those terrible things are still ahead of Cassian when his spin-off prequel series starts, because this takes place before Rogue One, obviously. So we're going to get to see kind of all the stuff that made him the guy he is in Rogue One. But it doesn't take long for him to start walking away from the things he'll want to forget, between Cassian's ethically compromised actions and the writing and showrunning of Rogue One, co-writer Tony Gilroy, who's known for morally complex thrillers like Michael Clayton. That was dope. Of course, the Bourne movies, the Bourne Identity. I mean, if you fucked with the Bourne Identity, you're going to love Andor. And that's what I'm hoping that. I mean, this is like the guy that made Rogue One. It's the guy that made the Bourne Identity stuff. I mean, we can't really go wrong here, man. Star Wars, you're going to have to try real hard to fuck this up.
I ain't gonna lie, I like Jason Bourne.
Hell yeah.
Lie, that's my man right there.
Yeah. Andor has the potential to be the most mature, gritty, and grounded Star Wars has ever seen. And such.
Yeah, that's what they all keep saying.
Yeah.
That's what they all keep saying right now. Listen, I'm staying up tomorrow night just to see.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm going to wake up super early Monday morning. And I'm going to watch the hell out of Andor.
So this is the review we'll care about. What you two think. Because you guys are hyping it up.
When we come on here Wednesday, I'm going to be Andor ready.
Yeah. Be Andored out. But, yeah, for sure. And like I said, this is set to provide fresh fodder for the 45-year debate about the target audience for the franchise. I think, George Lucas has long insisted that Star Wars, like Tricks, is for kids, and that those who find fault with its more juvenile elements are making the same mistake that Tricks the Rabbit did. These are for kids, silly. But in 1999, George Lucas defended himself from accusations of Jar Jar Binks being a racist stereotype on the grounds that some Star Wars fans are predisposed to disparage comic sidekicks. They want the films to be tough like Terminator, and they get very upset and opinionated about anything that has anything to do with being childlike, he said. The movies are for children, but they don't want to admit that. In the first film, they absolutely hated R2 and C-3PO. In the second film, they didn't like Yoda. In the third film, they hated the Ewoks. And now Jar Jar is getting accused of the same thing. End quote. And he's not lying.
They did hate the Ewoks, man.
They hated the Ewoks.
They did hate the Ewoks.
They didn't like Yoda.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't like Yoda, the puppet. They said it was silly.
Yeah.
R2 and C-3PO, they were like, what is this goofy C-3PO? Like, they didn't like it at first. But there's always been that comic relief or that childlike character for the kids.
But Reno, I think they took it a little too far with Jar Jar. The Ewoks was just too cute. Ewoks just, and then remember the one Ewok died, and the one was shaking him, and he wouldn't wake up, and then he was like, and then they just went wild, and I was like, wow, man. And it was just too cute, man. The Ewoks was just too cute.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jar Jar was a travesty, bro.
Jar Jar was too silly. He was just too silly.
I was blown away about it. Was like I was like, is this reminded me of like you know, your mommy like the fucking blackface really bad stereotype.
Jar Jar was
like,
just too silly.
Oh no!
Because when you look at the other Gungans,
none
of the other Gungans, none of the other Gungans were as silly as Jar Jar.
Ooh.
No, they weren't. They weren't like that. It was just Jar Jar.
It was just Jar Jar. Remember when he met Boss Nass? Boss Nass was like serious. He was like, "You was a Jar Jar. You was a stay there." And you know they didn't take him for a joke.
I mean, they did the murder. Other than that, though, they were pretty fucking normal.
Yeah. But there are whole websites dedicated to killing Bert from Sesame Street because people hate Bert from Sesame Street.
Really? What's wrong with Bert?
Yeah, bro. I never think nothing to me. They just hate Bert, bro. They don't like Bert, man. Whole website dedicated to killing Bert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bert is not liked.
Back in 2017, George Lucas reiterated his stance when speaking about the original Star Wars. He said, it's hard for people to realize, and I'm not supposed to say this, and I wasn't supposed to say it then, but it's a film for 12-year-olds. He went on to explain it was designed to be a film like mythology of this is what we stand for. You're about to enter the real world. You're 12 years old. You're going to go into the big world. You're moving away from your parents, being the center of focus. You're probably scared. You don't know what's going to happen. And there's a little idea of some things you should pay attention to. Friendships, honesty, and trust, and doing the right thing. Living on the light side, avoiding the dark side. Those are the things it was meant to do. So in 1977, when the movie was still in theaters, Lucas told Rolling Stone, it's not a silly child's film, end quote. That's not inconsistent with what he would say 40 years later. There's a world of difference between a child's film and a silly child's film. And his 2017 articulation of the ethos of Star Wars wasn't far removed from the following 1977 mission statement where he said, it's not playing down to people, but it is still an entertaining movie and doesn't have a lot of violence and sex and hip new stuff. It still has a vision to it, a sort of wholesome, honest vision about the way you want the world to be. And a lot of people, gave him shit because he was like this filmmaker and like part of this crew of like it was Spielberg and like and people gave him shit about the movies. So at first it's a kids movie was sort of a defense. He was like defending the movie, saying it's for kids, like don't criticize the puppets and shit because it's a kids movie. But he really didn't mean that. He didn't mean it's a silly kids movie. He just meant that it's got stuff in it to help, kids that are coming of age. I don't know, whatever. That's sort of
because you got to remember, if it's kids don't understand things we do. Like when I watch SpongeBob, that's got to be over the kids' head. Some of those stuff, some of that stuff got to be over the kids' head. Yeah, the dialogue. Now the actions that they take aren't
right,
and but a lot of the dialogue is over the children's head.
And I think some of those jokes are for the parents that have to sit and watch it.
Yeah, have to sit there, right? So that's what he's saying. They do that in the movie. We just put some stuff in there that the kids will like. You know what I mean? But it's for the kids, but it's mostly a parent. So like when you watch SpongeBob, it's mostly for the kids. But if you were the parent sitting there watching it, you'd be like, hold on, what did he just say? Did he just so they put something in there, right? Because some of us got to watch the cartoons. I watched cartoons with my boys when they were little. All the way from Dexter's Laboratory, I had to watch Powerpuff Girls, all of that, man.
Phineas and Ferb,
all the great
Phineas and Ferb, Hey Arnold. I had to watch Hey Arnold, all of that, man. So there was some stuff in there I knew they didn't get, but I got.
Yeah, But I think like they said, the different, like he said, the difference between a silly child's movie and a movie that's for young people. You see, like there's silly kids movies, and then there's movies for young people. I think E.T. is a movie for young people. I think, Stand By Me is a movie for young people, even though
It
there's
is, yeah.
dead bodies in it. It's for young people, like it's about them coming of age. But a grown ass person could sit and watch Stand By Me and get every bit of it because we all been that age before.
Right.
Whatever else Jar Jar Binks may be, though, it's difficult to dispute that he isn't silly. And it's hard. It's also hard to argue that Lucas didn't shift the franchise in a more sanitized direction after The Empire Strikes Back. And even Star Wars, with its images of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru fried crispy, by the stormtroopers, Obi-Wan slicing off Ponda Barba's arm, blood, and they showed blood. And Princess Leia being menaced by a torture droid, and Leia, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, Han Solo almost dying in a trash compactor, right? And then Lucas collaborator Gary Kurtz, who produced Star Wars and the Empire, split with his longtime partner prior to Return of the Jedi, based on what he perceived as excessive catering to kids. And the toy business, well, this is what he said. This is what Kurtz said. He said the toy business began to drive the Lucasfilm empire. He said that in 2010. It's a shame they make 3 times as much on toys as they do on films. It's natural to make decisions that protect the toy business, but that's not the best thing for making quality films. The first film, Empire, were about story and character. The first film and Empire were about story and character, but I could see that George's priorities were changing. He went on to say, changed everything from the original outline for the third film, which had featured Han's death and an ending that bore a little resemblance to the fireworks and dance parties that ultimately concluded the various versions of the film. He said, instead of bittersweet and poignant, Lucas wanted euphoric ending with everybody happy. By that time, there were really big toy sales, and that was the reason. Because, the third film was supposed to be very different. There's even rumors that Luke was supposed to turn to the dark side, but Han was supposed to die. There's a lot of stuff that they took out of the movie because it wouldn't make kids happy. It wouldn't sell toys. And clearly that's, shit like Jar Jar Binks and all that. It's clearly to sell toys. I don't think
Andor. I believe, Reno, because I remember as a kid. Now that you're saying all that, I remember as a kid when Return of the Jedi came out, bro, it was a lot of toys.
Yes.
I mean, every character that was in the movie, whether they had a line or not, there was a toy for it.
I was gonna say, even characters that were just in the background,
just right in the background, right? They had toys.
There was a figure for it.
They had
every
the Ewoks.
There's a figure.
Ewoks had a play set. Jabba the Hutt had the sail barge. David had a Death Star. They had a Death Star toy.
Even had Jabba the Hutt. They had his palace too, like where you.
They had his palace, yeah. They had
Jabba drops out. I had that shit too.
Yeah.
Yep. They had a little band. The band, the alien that plays the instrument.
The band.
Everything is a toy. Everything.
They even had. What was the ship that the Imperial Shuttle? They had it, and I wanted Imperial Shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
They had an Imperial Shuttle.
Yeah, they had the Falcon, they had the X-Wing, the TIE Fighter. You even had
the TIE Fighter. They introduced the Y-Wing. That's what we first. Yep. I think was that the Y-Wing or the A-Wing was the first. That was the first one we saw. The A-Wing, I think it was. And they had the A-Wing. They had a new X-Wing. Luke. They had every version of Luke and every different costume that he had in the movie. Leia, the speeder bikes. Remember, they had the speeder bikes and all of that.
Yeah. Every costume, every iteration of every character, every alien in the background.
Yeah, Sada. If you was in the movie Sada and you was just in the background serving call, they had you too. There was a figure for you.
Every figure.
I don't care.
Every extra. Yeah, extras had figures.
Yeah. The extras had every major scene. It was all about toys. It was a lot of toys out for Empire Strikes Back. Return of the Jedi. It was a lot. Yeah, more than any other Star Wars movie I can remember.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And just while we got everybody in here, I want to say, so Slade Wilson, okay, Corey Adger, Norin Rad is not here, and Lito's Way. You guys have the wrench by your name, your mods, because you're always here. Diamond Onyx. And so not only are you guys mods and stuff like that, but we all sort of kind of have a name now. We are the 6th Elementals. So that's like our crew. So you've now been inducted. You are now 6th Elementals. So we got Corey Slade, Norin, and the Diamond Onyx. And obviously me and Stu and Sada and people who come on the show a lot. So basically it's all of us. We're just a family. You know what I'm saying? We're a crew. We're 6 elementals. And you know what I'm saying? We all just get down and do that. Norin Rad is watching the game. Yeah, so I mean he's not here, but for those of y'all that's here, yes, y'all are now part of the crew. So it's official. Official. Yes.
Yeah, that's dope for them. That's dope. Because they're always here. Yeah. They're always here. And if one ain't here, there'll always be a modder here.
There's always gonna be somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always gonna be somebody.
Because out of them, they're always here.
Yeah.
Out of them, it's always somebody here from them.
Except for Norin, he watching the game.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's always somebody here. Out of those people, is always one of those people is gonna always be here. And usually more than one. So we good. We flush with mods. And obviously, it's a lot of mods, but we're gonna grow. Soon there'll be hundreds of people in our chat. So we gotta get ready. We gotta preparate. Ooh, boo.
Yeah.
Y'all are not prepared.
Oh.
They're not prepared for them guys. They're not prepared at all. Not prepared at all.
Yeah, those chats are something serious.
Yeah, but
some of the other channels have been on their live streams.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god.
But of course, but yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick. But yeah, so of course, George Lucas hasn't had much say in steering Star Wars since he sold it to Disney 10 years ago. But his influence remains strong, both through the legacy of the Star Wars works that he created and through his link to his protege, Dave Filoni. Thank God Dave Filoni is working with Lucasfilm, because if it wasn't for him, we would not have no real guidance from George Lucas like we do. And Dave Filoni shares George Lucas's belief that the franchise should make people feel happy in some way. And Disney still wants to sell Star Wars toys, obviously, but Lucas is no longer, grasping the reins. And Andor, not a John Favreau and Filoni joint, but a Gilroy creation through and through, seems to understand that Star Wars makes the most enduring impact on its audience when it isn't afraid to leave it in darkness. When it's not afraid, guys, it's okay to go to the dark side sometimes. I think we get, personally, I love the dark side stuff, the Sith stuff, especially the Old Republic stuff. That's my favorite part of Star Wars. The best movie in the original trilogy is the one in which the rebel base gets destroyed. Luke experiences a nightmarish vision of himself as Darth Vader and later loses his hand to the Dark Lord, whom he then learns is his father. Han gets tortured and frozen in carbonite. The best movie in the prequel trilogy is the one where the clones execute Order 66. Anakin kills younglings. Padme Amidala dies. The Republic dies. And the best movie in the sequel trilogy No, there's no good movie in the sequel trilogy. But if there was one, it would be the one in which Luke wrestles with his attachment to the Jedi, the Resistance fleet is destroyed, and Luke and Admiral Holdo sacrifice themselves to save, a movement that's been abandoned by its allies. Basically, to say that the best movies from the trilogies are always the one where the dark shit happens. It's always the one where the tragedy happens. It just makes for good drama. It just makes it sort of resonate the most and makes it the most memorable. And maybe the best movie of the Disney Star Wars era definitely is Rogue One, in which the heroes are all dead. They die at the end. In which and militant extremists, a petty criminal, and the aforementioned morally compromised rebel agent, and in which almost every one of them dies. So yeah, the best movies are the ones where the bad shit happens. So you can't just be all about smiles and laughs and jokes and Taika Waititi learned that the hard way. You got to have some story in there. And there seems to be, I think, a pattern here because Dave Filoni wasn't wrong when he said Star Wars should make you feel good and should be uplifting, but that's not all it should do. You can't just have uplifting and as Dante from Clerks puts it when he argues for Empire over Jedi, he said it ends on such a down note. I mean, that's what life is, a series of down endings. All Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets. And that's a great argument. But Andor's different. Gilroy said, I don't think it's a show for 9-year-olds or 12-year-olds. 12-year-olds might be pushing it. He said, but how Andor became the first Star Wars TV series for grown-ups, basically, which ran beneath an image of the show from a grim-faced Luna and Stellan Skarsgård, is a little reductive in that there's plenty for grown-ups to savor in previous Star Wars series, from Rebels to The Mandalorian. Even some of the series that were pitched more towards kids contained some mature scenes and themes. Like Clone Wars, the cartoons, still decent. I mean, Rebels, as evidenced by YouTube's multiple montages of the non-kiddie content in Clone Wars. You've got, and then in fairness to the flanneled one, even the Phantom Menace, which is labeled a children's film, featured talk of trade routes, Senate deliberations, politics. Qui-Gon Jinn gets killed. The Sith Lord gets cut in half, right? Like shit goes down. But if Andor isn't really the first Star Wars TV series for grown-ups, it may be the first that's definitely not for kids. Yeah. So naturally, the use of like sex and explicit language, Star Wars swear words aside, on Andor isn't likely to make anyone confuse Disney Plus for HBO. Like, I don't think it's going to be super graphic and violent, as far as that goes. And, more violent than, say, Darth Vader massacring civilians on Obi-Wan Kenobi. But on Andor, though, the violence may not be as easily condemned when it's done by villains or justified when it's done by the protagonist. Like, we actually might see the heroes killing people that we might think aren't that bad, so like it might be some gray area stuff, which is a very mature, that's a mature adult way to look at things, because life is gray. Life is not black or white. Shit happens. But even
but nowadays, people
have to do bad stuff.
Right. I mean, look, we know some of Star Wars is some things kids see on TV. Just it's not for kids. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I get Star Wars or sci-fi, shooting this, but it's not really that bad. But there are parents out there that let their kids watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then you got a nerve to say, well, Andor. I mean, look, Andor is what it's going to be. If you're a parent, you would know if it's appropriate for your children or not.
Right.
That's just it. Just sit down and watch TV with your kids.
I think that the maturity level is less R-rated stuff and more politics and stuff that kids would probably find boring, spy stuff. I mean, Jason Bourne, if you take out the cool action scenes, most kids wouldn't find that entertaining. Personally, I love that stuff. I love spy stuff. I like reading spy novels. I even like the Le Carre stuff, which is action free. But yeah, this is like you said before, Stu. It's a spy show wrapped in a Star Wars cloak, basically.
It is.
So yeah, can't beat it. That's like, give me. It's like Wu-Tang. You give me mafia, martial arts, hip hop, and you put it together with comic books. It's everything you love. Yeah, let's do it.
There's a question I got for Sada. What do you think about that? What do you think about the Keanu Reeves returning as Constantine and getting a sequel?
Yeah, I saw that. That was very bizarre. I like I haven't anything about that film in years. I didn't think it was anything to write home about, and it's getting a sequel. I don't really get it, but okay. A lot of people are excited. Good, I really don't understand it personally, but you didn't
like
I guess
the Who?
Huh?
You didn't like the Who?
We've been watching the CW.
She said,
and the guy
yeah.
I mean, the Constantine
I'm trying to get what you just said.
Oh no, I was saying the Constantine movie was kind of forgettable to me. It just wasn't anything to write home about. I don't know. I didn't grow up with Keanu Reeves Constantine. I grew up with the one that was more present on the CW. And I actually really like that guy.
Really?
So
and that's that's the controversy, because a lot of people like the guy on the CW. Like CW nailed these characters.
I think it's like Sada just said. They're growing up with this one. This is the one they're seeing the most.
Right. This is what we see the most. But also they also like Flash, like Sada said it before. Why didn't they just use Gus to do the Flash movie?
Yeah.
Why did you have to go out and get Ezra Miller when you already had somebody that people was familiar with playing the Flash, and he did a good job?
Yeah.
Right.
And the way he runs on the TV show looked way better than what we saw in the movie.
Oh, geez, flinging the arms, what are you doing?
Yeah. I don't when I first saw Constantine, I had no clue that it had anything to do with a DC character. I did not know.
Are you serious?
No clue. I was just like, "What? Look at this weird movie that they made with Keanu Reeves. Pretty cool." Had no idea that it was DC related. No idea it was from a comic book at all. So when I first saw it, I just dug it for its merits. I wasn't comparing it to anything, And sometimes when you see a movie and you don't know about its source material, it can be a whole new experience or a whole different experience for you than it would be for someone who does know the source material, where they may hate it because it's so different from the source material they're used to. You might love it because you never were tainted by the source material. So as a movie, just outside by itself without knowing it was, DC or anything, I dug it. I thought it was cool. But Sada, you're right. It did kind of maybe wasn't that big, memorable. But when I've rewatched it, I'm like, man, this movie is great. There's a lot of shit going on. This is really cool. And Keanu, the movie was based with Keanu Reeves was like a reimagined version of the DC character, Constantine, aka Hellblazer. And Reeves' take ditched the character's usual blonde look and British accent, but he made the supernatural detective his own, right? And Constantine was the feature-length directorial debut for Francis Lawrence, and had hopes of being a franchise. It didn't at the time, but finally, I think, they're finally getting that, franchise thing in line. And when Constantine hit theaters back in 2005, it wasn't a big hit. The movie grossed over $230 million worldwide, but earned mixed to negative reviews, diminishing the chances of the sequel ever happening. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because I didn't grow up with this Constantine, I really don't get the excitement, I guess. It just seemed like that came out of nowhere, literally nowhere. What? Where did this come from? I guess because Keanu Reeves is hot right now, so I guess that's smart. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Like it's just such odd news to come out from DC with everything that's going on with them. Yeah, let's pluck Constantine from 2005. But all right, I guess.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's a weird thing to do right now. Yeah, but Constantine has developed a cult following now because
That's
of
true.
the movie and everything, and with Reeves, career resurgence thanks to John Wick, and Cyberpunk or whatever, all this stuff. But I think Constantine too has grown louder and become more. It makes more sense now, I think, than it ever did before. Is why they never really did it before. But now it's kind of making sense because of the John Wick stuff. Keanu Reeves is back in the spotlight. And, like I said, Constantine has grown a following. Now with the quarantine and everything, got all these new comic fans and people are getting the comics. And now he's got new fans. So it kind of makes sense, but it is a surprise for sure. It definitely came out of left field. Either as a theatrical movie or even with Keanu Reeves returning as Constantine for a Justice League Dark HBO Max series, I think it'd be cool. But the interest in Constantine 2 led to Reeves and others involved with the first film discussing the possibility of the sequel. And, it's finally been announced that it's happening. It's in the works. But this raises a lot of questions. Like, as to
every
the current
decision that DC makes.
Yeah, like the current status of the production schedule, who's going to be in it, like how does it fall in with the other movies, like is it part of the other movies? But what we know so far,
I feel like the best way to go about it, they should just leave it as its own thing and just have that be a sequel to the first film. I don't think they should try to interconnect it. It's just too much. They've proven they can't handle that right now. So just make it.
They have not done well with that. But yeah, though the planned HBO Max, it's planned for like an HBO Max series, I guess, produced by J.J. Abrams, that they were gonna do is not happening now. But he's gonna be producing Constantine 2. So J.J. Abrams is on it, which is weird, but he's producing, not directing, which may be cool. And then
I think they're gonna use the same director from the first.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, possibly setting up the DCEU's Justice League Dark, because I think that's what they're doing here. I think they're creating the Justice League Dark. Despite the first movie not initially being a critical success, Warner Brothers has decided to make a franchise out of Constantine. And given their latest efforts to bring more DC characters to the big screen, especially characters that are not the big three, Keanu Reeves' career has been, on the up as of late, considering that he has more John Wick movies coming down the pipeline, as well as the latest Matrix and Bill and Ted installments under his belt. So the news for Constantine 2, along with other details about who's involved with the upcoming project, has come. But I think like Justice League Dark, it would be dope. Like, who's all in Justice League Dark? Like, that's a dope lineup.
It is.
Constantine's in it. The whole Justice League plus Constantine.
I thought it was
anime. The anime was superb.
The animated Justice League Dark? Dang, I didn't really like that one too much.
You didn't like it?
I saw it.
I think it's because they like superimposed Batman into the film, and he really had nothing to do with the core set of characters because they were all magic based or supernatural. And then you have Batman in there, and I'm like, why is he even in there? So of course they had to make him a main part of the story, and it just didn't really need to be there. I mean, I get it, to sell DVDs, but it kind of lessened my enjoyment. But I like that we saw those characters. It had been a while since we saw Constantine, Zatanna. Who else? Etrigan. Been a long time.
Etrigan was in there. Who was the other lady with the with the rag? Not the rag. When I had the she was like a gypsy.
Yeah.
What? Like a gypsy. Hang on, it'll come to me. Hang on. Give me a second. Let me check me physical memory banks. Let me check my memory. All
I
right,
did
so you
like
had Constantine.
The what was it? The sequel, the Apocalypse War. I kind of like that.
I haven't watched that yet. I literally
really
have not watched that yet.
Yeah, that's like the finale for the whole New 52-esque universe. That's the finale. They reset everything at the end of the thing. So
because you had Swamp Thing was in that. Swamp Thing.
Oh, he was
Constantine.
Constantine.
Zatanna. Because remember, Swamp Thing is kind of like, I guess, magic based.
Yeah. Oh, and Dead Man, whatever his name is.
Dead Man.
He was in
there.
Dead
Man was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zatanna. Boston Brand. That's Dead Man. Then you had,
that's Dead Man.
Swamp Thing, and you have Black Orchid. Black Orchid was the other one.
Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, who?
Dr. Fate.
Okay.
Yeah, because the demons were you
name
the had Wrath. League? Yeah, you have Wrath. Oh, I can't see. Aghast and Abzaganger. Those are the demons. And then you had Felix Faust.
Mm-hmm.
We had Richie Simpson. We had Destiny, Merlin. I mean,
Yeah, slew. Like, really.
They had a nice slew of characters, man. But
Dead Man.
Dead Man was in it.
Dr. Mist. Yeah.
Yeah, we said Dead Man. We said Zatanna, Etrigan, Swamp.
Phantom Stranger, Pandora, Zuriel, Man-Bat, Dr. Fate, Constantine, Animal Man, Ragman, Eternal Night. Yeah. They got some villains too. That's Merlin, Mr. E, Sapphire Knight, Eclipso, Upside Down Man, Faust. Yeah.
Yeah, we named all the villains.
Necro.
Yeah, we named all the villains, all the because we were like Swamp Thing, and I was like, because when I said Swamp Thing, Sada was like Swamp Thing. I was like, yeah, Swamp Thing.
I was like, wait. I didn't know that. I was like, wait.
Yeah, Swamp Thing was it. Yeah, because you got the Lords of Order and then you got Lords of Chaos. You got that's a whole.
And then there's the Flashpoint timeline with Justice League Dark from the New 52, which was like Abracadabra, Amethyst, Enchantress, Mind Warp, Raven, Zatanna, Black Orchid, Clarion, Miss X, Simon Magus, Stiletto, and Trigon.
Now I didn't like. Now Sada, I didn't like City of Demons. City of Demons that's the one you might be talking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't like that one either. I didn't like that
City of Demons, and that was a spinoff from Justice League.
Yeah, it was, and I was like, "What is this?"
It was horrible.
It was really bad.
It was bad. It really was bad. It made no sense. It just didn't. And then it all ended out in Apocalypse War. But
was there a
Constantine is the one that they really tried to market. Like he's one of the ones they've been trying to market, and it just has not been working so far. So maybe outside of like the CW.
Did y'all seen Apocalypse War?
Stu hasn't seen it.
I haven't watched it yet. I have it. I actually have it.
Good?
I just haven't watched it. I heard there's people died and everything. People like it.
There's a lot of shock value. A lot of whoa. Rated R for a reason. They make
I haven't watched it.
Oh yeah, I did watch it. I got halfway through it. I didn't finish it.
Now, Sada, what do you think about? What do you think about Zack Snyder's Teen Titans Go?
Oh, you know what? I saw a clip of that, and that was really interesting. I was like, they did that. That's so funny. It looked all right. I don't know. It was kind of dark, like physically, like to look. It was kind of dark. I would have wanted a little more color. I've always wanted more color from Zack Snyder's films. Because the costumes were always so muted. Like when Wonder Woman was in Batman v Superman, her thing was literally brown. It was just so odd. But outside of that, they look great. They look cool. I was surprised that they did that. I was like, "What is this? Oh snap!"
That was pretty cool. Got the Snyder cut treatment.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I just need them to give us Allah just need to give us a Night Begins to Shine DVD.
That's
With all of those episodes on there. That's all we need from Teen Titans.
All we need.
Yeah, just that one little run right there.
Somebody's got to make it eventually. I mean, there's enough content to do it. So.
Oh God, yeah. They just won't do it. I don't know why.
I'm afraid that nobody will buy the rest of the show.
Yeah, that was like their biggest. That was big for that. That was big for Teen Titans. It really, really was.
Yeah.
That summer, I must have watched that 1,000,000 times that summer. My son was just like, "Dad, can we watch Night Begins to Shine?" I was like, "Yes, we can." Mm-hmm. We just kept watching Teen Titans, and we just kept watching it.
Yeah. I was just looking at some of the stuff that the people in Andor are saying about it. The
Andor.
The Luna, the Diego Luna, the guy's playing Andor, said Tony Gilliam, talking about the director, he said Tony Gilroy is not a writer that lives in the language of right and wrong or black and white. He spends his time in the complexity of the gray areas and the contradictions of the characters. That's just what I said a few minutes ago. He said it gets into character, behavior, and plots that are complicated and as real as anything I've ever done. That's Star Wars, y'all. This is Star Wars you're talking about. Kyle Soller, who plays Deputy Inspector Cyril Karn in Andor, told Variety that the show was completely different from what I expected the Star Wars scripts to look like. I had to flip back and look at the title. No, this is a Star Wars film. It just felt like, wow, this is incredibly grown up, gritty, and messy. Luna sounded the same. He said, this is a show about real people. It's very dark times in the galaxy. It's the most grounded kind of Star Wars that you'll get. And as many people preview piece, as many a preview piece has noted, the show was shot on location and on constructed sets rather than on, green screen like The Mandalorian and Boba Fett did to maximize, the lived-in verisimilitude stuff. But when the Mandalorian's first trailer came out, I thought it was the best, chance for a high-profile project that would dwell on the seedy, dark side back roads of Star Wars, and Favreau had spoken about exposing the darker, freakier side of Star Wars, and his series seemed aligned with the spirit of Star Wars Underworld, which is a Lucas era initiative, ironically described as Deadwood in space and Empire on steroids. Star Wars Underworld, I forgot about that, man. It never happened. It's the working title of a proposed live action television series that would have been set during the time span between episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and episode 4, New Hope, which I think kind of became Mandalorian. Over the next, over the several years, a lot of different writers, literally, and I don't mean this as exaggeration, literally 50 scripts were written. 50, not 15, 50. Yeah, there was 50 scripts that they came up with for the planned show, the adult Star Wars show. And the project was scrapped. There were because there was the 2 highly anticipated video games that trafficked in similarly seedy subject matter. It was the Star Wars 1313 and Ragtag. But The Mandalorian has certainly explored the criminal underworld that flourished in the aftermath of Jedi. But it's balanced in its more mature rated inclinations with the unlimited toy selling power of Baby Yoda. And other Star Wars efforts have brought a darker tone to every imaginable medium. Video games like Dark Forces to Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith joint, Republic Commando, Force Unleashed 1 and 2. You got the comics, from Dark Empire to Empire Betrayal to Legacy of Darth Vader, War of the Bounty Hunters,
Yep.
books. You've got the New Jedi Order series, Karen Travis's clone novels, Darth Bane, my favorite trilogies, very dark, all about Sith shit, Coruscant Nights, Shadows of the Empire. That's why I said this. It's dark for the movies, but for the books, it's not even going to touch how dark the books get. But that's why I always said the books are my favorite part of Star Wars, the books and the comics. But which, for a major Lucasfilm release, the 2-season, 24 episodes that they're going to do with Andor, I think, because you asked me before, Stu, how many episodes? I think
how many episodes?
It's going to be about 12 episodes per season. They're doing 2 seasons, 24 episodes. So it's a full on.
That's not bad, That's actually a blessing.
Lovely. That's lovely
compared to what we've been getting.
Right.
And like I said, the critics, from what I've read, a lot of the critics said that they saw 3 episodes already. Yeah. They went to some type of screening or something like that.
Well, I think they're giving us 3 episodes tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought it was only 2.
It's 2 or 3. It's 2 or 3.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure. I thought it was 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But when I was reading Sunday, they were saying that, look, we watched 3 episodes and all 3 were great. And they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait to see the rest. So whatever it is, I want to see it. Like I said, if I got to wake up early Wednesday morning or wait late Wednesday, Tuesday night, it doesn't make a difference.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch me some Andor, baby. It's got to go down.
Damn
so
right.
Whichever one it is, it's going down.
Damn right.
The Batman has some interesting content coming out starting in November. It's a lot. Batman's got a lot. I forgot to do it Saturday. I had the DC Essentials, the book that showed for Batman Day. But I had this. It was showing all the upcoming stuff for Batman. It's a lot, and a lot of it's coming out between November and December. Comic wise, I mean, it's a lot.
Of this
there's
year?
One with him and there's one with him and the Joker where they have to rescue Harley Quinn. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot of content. When we come back Saturday for DC Power Hour, I'll have it. I'll bring the essentials and we'll go through it. It was actually blowing me away. Some of the covers and cover art, like the variant covers for some of the stuff I saw was just phenomenal. And I even read an article the other day. They were saying, like, if you were going to get into Batman, now's the time to do it because they're putting out so much and they're making it so accessible and giving you new villains. Punchline just became her own villain. She doesn't, normally they would have her around with Joker, but now she's out on her own. And I guess they're hoping to see the same success with her. They got with Harley Quinn, but they got to remember Jimmy's wife and Margot Robbie made Harley Quinn what she is today, and and that's the thing that they're forgetting. You're gonna have to bring Punchline to the screen, and you're gonna have to give her maybe a new look. But I think people like the look she has now. But if you bring it to the screen and somebody plays it really well, it'll blow up.
Yeah, it's. I think they should stick with Harley on that, but they got a lot of Harley going on, so they might just need a new character. There's been a lot of Harley Quinn, and they got the new Joker 2 coming out, but when Andor begins, about 5 years before the events of Rogue One, in Episode 4, the Empire has consolidated its control of the galaxy at this point. So it's not just a dark time for the rebellion. It's a time so dark that there's barely a rebellion at all at this point. Like and Cassian, Andor has been fighting, running, and suffering from the tumult of a war-torn, galaxy his whole life. And so he's got, he really ain't got shit to lose. And crucially, Disney has little to lose by letting him behave in questionable ways, because we already know from Rogue One what kind of man he is and how he gets down and when he dies. And
right.
his days on screen are numbered, are as our by choice
Yeah, they are
Gilroy
numbered. Yeah,
as
it's
Star
good.
Wars tour.
It is good that they're doing it because he only got through one movie. It was
Yeah.
done. But I read during the making. I read about the making of it, and they said that they weren't gonna kill him. They said no matter what they did, no matter how they turned the numbers or anything like that, they said it just made more sense that everybody died. Like that was the best way for it to end.
Yeah.
Um, they said that
Absolutely.
they even wrote a script where they didn't die, where they got away, but they said it was just too unbelievable. It was just too it just didn't fit, and they said
Well, it was too
the depth, yeah,
too
it was
ridiculous.
too
Yeah.
amazing, right? It was
Yeah.
too predictable, and
Right.
they said that, and one of the guys said they said it was just corny. They said,
Yeah.
but when we wrote it the way we did with everybody dying, and actually they said actually the Empire won that day, like that was
Mhm.
the whole thing
Yeah, they thought
that
they
they
did.
were
Right.
aiming for. Right, they were aiming for.
They didn't know
it-
that the plans got taken, that they got away with them. They thought
Right,
they
right.
won. Mhm.
Right. Even though and they were saying, right, even though the plans got taken, they were just saying that was just a good day for the Empire because that was just one of the days they got to kind of crush the rebellion.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, they got away with the plans. And so they were like, in every movie besides Empire, the good guys win.
Yeah. Well,
And they
granted,
said this was,
Lucasfilm has a history of rethinking creative risks midstream. Rogue One underwent a lot
and
of
that was a
reshoots
lot of retreat, yes, a lot
and
of rewrites.
initial, yeah,
Yeah.
and initial reports suggested that the goal of the reshoots would be to lighten the mood, bring some levity into the story, and restore, some sense of fun and adventure. In the end, though, the movie may have gotten darker. If anything, Gilroy described as one of his key contributions as clarifying that Rogue One was a movie about sacrifice because everyone is going to die, and die they did. Um, because the final cut was a critical and commercial success, despite its down ending, Gilroy got the opportunity to helm this show. And thank God it was someone who realized that the dark stuff is what makes the shows and movies exciting. It's what gives you stakes. It's what makes the good. That's why this High Republic shit that they're doing, where there's no Sith, no one's at war, the what do you call it? The Jedis are at the height of their, power, and they wear white robes because they never get dirty. Like, who wants to see that? Like, how is that exciting? What's the story here? It's total trash. It's utter shit.
Millennials.
Millennials,
Millennials want
yes,
to see
it's
that.
millennial garbage. It does not.
That's who wants to see it.
Yeah, and you guys don't like stakes. You don't like, tragedies. I mean, it's like that's storytelling here. Like, happy endings are for 2-year-olds that don't know life yet. That's just, but I love a happy ending, sure, but there's definitely some room for some dark shit, and that's what makes the light shit important. Like, the High Republic stuff makes no sense because who cares if they're in power or if they're all at the top of their game, because there's no one to depose them or oppose them.
Right.
But
true.
maybe Lucasfilm's steeped in both Lucas's and Disney's kid-friendly proclivities had to be dragged toward the darkness and down toward the ground level, less Skywalker-centric tale. Maybe Gilroy's pedigree gives him a special dispensation to tell what he terms absolutely realistic stories within the host organism of Star Wars. But if he succeeds a second time, the door to the darker side of the galaxy and even more the even more mundane side could crack open for less established storytellers and perhaps some more dark Star Wars stuff in the future. So Rogue One, big success. If Andor's a big success, bet we're going to start seeing some more mature, maybe not so happy ending, good quality, darker shit out of Star Wars. And I couldn't be happier about that. I'm over the moon about it. Yeah. And then perhaps the franchise will feel as limitless as the big galaxy that entranced fans from the start. Nothing needs to stop Star Wars from being both for kids and for adults that those kids become. When director Denis Villeneuve said he wanted Dune to be the Star Wars movie he never saw, Star Wars for adults, everyone knew what the hell he meant. And almost 3 years after The Rise of Skywalker, there's still no Star Wars movie scheduled for release. But Andor looks like the Star Wars series that we've never seen. And it's based on one of my favorite Star Wars movies. But fans who feasted on the movie's main courses but been tantalized by the prospect of a less Lucas-esque or Disney-fied side dish have had those dreams dashed before. But it takes a rebellion to overturn decades of Star Wars precedent, man. And I think, the rebels.
It's gonna be. I just think it's gonna be a while for me getting a Star Wars movie.
It's gonna be a while before they do any movies.
Yeah, that last one left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Kathleen Kennedy wants to keep her. She wants to keep her job.
She already lost that shit. That's a wrap.
So until they get some new blood in there in her spot,
yeah,
that's when we'll get a new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Oh, Slade bounced.
Yeah,
he's bounced on his
something.
What is he talking about? The birds are on. He said, "Gotta go."
It might be a football game.
The birds are on.
Game.
Oh, or the Eagles?
Oh, the Eagles. The Eagles. Yeah, that's what they call the Eagles. The birds. Yeah, they play the Vikings tonight.
You got to compete with Monday Night Football.
Right.
Yeah, because you got the Bills. You got the Bills and the Titans playing, and then you got the Eagles and Vikings playing right now. Oh, we like football. Oh, we like football in this house.
I know. Football's cool, man. It's. I like to play it. That's the thing with me with sports. Yeah, I like playing. I like playing them, but watching them does nothing for me. I get nothing.
Oh, it's a lot of people like my brother's like that. Yeah. My brother's like that. He loves basketball. He likes watching it more now than he ever did because he say now he's like, look, I'm getting old. But when he was younger, he'd rather play the sport than watch it. He'd be like, just go play it.
What game are you watching?
I'm not watching the game at all. I'm sitting here and just.
He be trying to act like he ain't watching.
I like to watch basketball and watch.
What you watching?
Turn the camera. I'm not watching anything. I'm not watching anything. There's nothing on in this house. I don't even have cable right now. I don't even have cable right now. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I just got the score. I just got the scores up. So the scores.
See checking the updates.
So, I just got the scores up. It's Vikings just scored 7-14. 7 Eagles. Vikings 7, Eagles 14. So Vikings just scored.
Ooh, Eagles.
So, but like I'm watching the sport joint where they'll have the template up and the guys will be talking, the commentators, and then they'll have the scores as they change. That's all. That's what I got.
Oh, okay.
And they might show a highlighted too. But yeah. Now, if it was the Steelers, it'd be hard to keep me here. It'd be hard to keep.
Hey, you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah. I got. You just, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Grab raised you right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you can thank my best friend for that. Actually, she's a Steelers fan too.
Okay, good. You got a good friend. She's a good friend.
My dad's all about the New York, whatever. That's him.
He likes the Giants. He probably likes the Giants. He's probably a big Giants fan.
Jets.
Nah. Mostly
Nets,
New York.
Mets.
Most New Yorkers, most New Yorkers are mixed between Giants and Jets, but they're mostly Giants fans.
Yeah.
I think he likes the Jets a little more. I think he likes
but most people from New York City, because the Giants are actually that's New Jersey's team. That's what they actually are. They actually belong
The
to
New York
Jersey.
Giants.
Yeah, they
They're from
only
there?
put the New York. Yeah, they only at the stadiums in New Jersey and everything.
Yeah.
They only put the Jets name on it because they said it was more marketable than New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey Giants doesn't
that
quite.
makes sense.
Yeah. So, but most New Yorkers, like in the city, they love the Jets. They're Jets fans. And then you got like, but then when
and the
you
Mets too, like the White Sox.
they love
and the Mets.
Yes,
They love the Mets.
Yes, they love the Mets.
They've
Yeah,
never won.
yeah, they love the Mets. Upside of fainted.
My camera fainted.
You said the Mets. You
Mets.
said the Mets and Sada fainted.
Sada was out.
The Mets and she fainted. Yeah, she's like,
I was like, oh
so that's
no.
all it is, man. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, guys. So well, listen, we're gonna end the show real quick here, guys, and we'll chop it up in a second. But listen, everybody that came, everybody that's chilling, the Sixth Elementals, welcome. You are part of the crew. And listen, man, for the 3 people that are still in here right now, peace, salute. We love you. We thank you. And we will see you guys Wednesday with some Andor goodness.
Slade, we forgive you. We forgive you, Slade. We didn't know you were an Eagles fan. Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Oh no. I hope they pull out a victory.
We'll see.
We'll see right now.
We'll see.
All right, y'all. Hey, everybody. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.